The Game Changers film is finally here. Rejoice. Let's take a look at how vegan YouTube is handling this landmark event that will surely change humanity forever.
Vegan strong, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt in my mind, this is going to be a literal game changer.
After seeing the movie, I really do feel like this is probably going to be one of the most impactful films of all time.
Boy, this is giving me way too much vegan power. Somebody stop me, please!
4'7" vegan strongman, Patrick Baboumian, and his amazing feats of unnecessarily exaggerated celebration are featured prominently in James Cameron's 2-hour pea-protein isolate advertisement. You too can replace all your digestible locally produced animal foods with cheap high-markup processed powders and pills made from monocropped pesticide-drenched plants. Do it for the animals and the planet, bigot.
Watch us, and try to debunk us. Plant-based movement is coming and no one can stop it because it actually works. Good morning, vegan savages. Before we do anything else, even take a sip of my coffee, we gotta talk about Game Changers one more time. That documentary got me. Wow, it was so profound. It will have such an impact. So many people will go vegan and there's nothing like that before.
So I'm just so incredibly excited for the rest of the world to see what I've already seen, and just incredibly humbled to be a part of such an amazing team.
It improves your health. It's the best effective tool to stop, fight climate change, take factory farming out of business and into the history book for a way more compassionate, bright, green future. So go on board. Why not? It just makes so much sense and it's so easy. What you gotta do? Just order the bean stew instead of the beef stew. It's basically that simple. No, not basically, it is that simple. Just taking the bland milk instead of the cow's milk. And it's such a small step for us. We feel better, we have all the benefits, and we do such a profound benefit for the environment and the animals.
What's up, y'all? It's Red Pill Vegan, and we are on the way to the Game Changers. And we're running about 2 minutes late, but you know there's gonna be some previews, and we're gonna get there. It's about 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're in the car. We're going to the Game Changers. I think this is finally about to happen.
We're gonna go see this movie. I'm not sure if it's gonna be packed. You think it's gonna be packed? She's saying it's gonna be packed. It might be. It's only one showing at one theater on one day, so it should be packed. I hope it's packed. So we'll see. All right, so we just pulled up in the parking lot, and it's not a good look. It's not a good sign. It looks kind of empty. This movie theater usually is kind of packed, but we'll see. You know, it could be possible that every car here is for this movie. It could be possible. We're still early. Still a little early. Maybe all the vegan athletes and people interested, maybe they come in all at one time. Maybe it's one big party.
All right, I haven't been to this movie theater in a long ass time, but this is where it's showing, so this is where I'm at. Let's step into the sunlight. Like I like to say, at this time of day, the sun shining right in my face. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. All right, y'all, so we thought we were late. We thought it started at 6:30, but it actually doesn't start until 7:30. So we're gonna have to go for a walk for like 45 minutes. We can't play arcade games for 45 minutes, man. I'm gonna run out of quarters. But yeah, so I went inside and I asked the guy, do y'all have any movie posters? Because we didn't see, you see those posters behind me? There's no Game Changers poster. Like, y'all got a movie poster? He's like, we don't get full-size posters for one-night events. It's not how it works. So I said, oh, because I wanted to film something in front of the poster, but nope.
Profoundly and only the most legit science here. This interview at Plant-Based News with who's actually the guy? I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but this guy, oh, he's so nice. He's like the storyteller and the guy behind that. Wow, mad respect for you. I love you, brother. Yeah, infographics in the documentary are so next level. I was there like infographic-gasm. Oh, that was so beautiful, and always the study link. So I cannot watch to get my hands on that. Rewatch it, check out the studies, go make my own infographics about it because they were amazing facts.
It's not one set of dietary guidelines for improving your performance as an athlete, another one for reversing heart disease, reversing diabetes. It's the same for all of them.
Oh my goodness, okay, one more scene before I get too wet. Yeah, facts, just to put it on your wall. No graphics in there, you can eat something while watch it, have a good mood and just be pumped. It's like a pre-workout, so go, 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 go.
The game changers.
But I actually like teared up like 3 times in the movie. It's very powerful.
I'm just real excited for the film.
Yeah.
I think, you know, you look at what the health reception impact that had. This one is going to take it next level, right?
No doubt in my mind, this is going to be a literal game changer. If What the Health was impactful, this is going to be on another level. It's going to be on another planet. I mean, What the Health was a good primer for this movie. Because it approaches everything positively, and I think that's the best message to get somebody to do something or convince somebody to do something, is approach it with positivity, and it's going to inspire people. It's going to inspire people. We're going to see a lot of people after this movie saying, "Sign me up, I'm vegan now."
This swagged up vegan with that dope-ass gold chain made sure to get the most lit seats in the house, far away from the other 6 vegans in the theater for this huge, inspiring, world-changing, revolutionary film.
Like, not like right in my face. Alright, the movie has not started yet, but the lights are still kind of on, and we're getting our seats straightened out. And this is how we do it right here. Check it out, we got some contraband, air popped popcorn, don't tell anybody. What do you think, man? You gonna go vegan?
Good flavor.
It's getting late and this vegan hasn't eaten in over an hour. He caps the night off after the rapturously ejaculatory experience at the theater with a snack, some fake ice cream that he tells himself he enjoys. Yum. It's totally better than real animal food. I am saving the planet. I do not want to cry.
And there were a lot of moments in that film that hit hard for me. One of them was just seeing the baby rhino.
Like good little consumer automatons, these vegans sauntered out of the theater to enthusiastically consume mass-produced processed kibble from Del Taco. The performance boost from their Beyond Meat meal was noticeable.
Alright guys, so we just left the movies. We decided we're gonna go to Del Taco. They have the impossible meat. So we're gonna get some tacos. Why not? Del Taco. So they had about 4 Beyond Meat options. Oh, look at this. It's right here in the little... These are only 2 of the options, but they had actually 4 Beyond Meat options. This is the one we got, right? Mm-hmm. And it has fries in it. 38 grams of protein.
It has crinkle fries.
Looks pretty good. Alright guys, so we just left the movie. Indigo was telling me how she almost cried a few times.
I'm weak.
She's not weak, she's just emotional.
This totally grassroots and not corporate controlled vegan revolution is so inspiring. These vegan YouTubers are also game changers, saving the planet one day at a time. Remember, the planet is dying and it's your fault. Mother Earth and the animals would appreciate if you'd sterilize yourself and consume a plant-based diet, move to a total surveillance smart city and pay carbon taxes to the World Bank and UN. It will be so lit.
Vegan. Vegan strong. You know what I'm saying?
Being a vegan is so fulfilling, revolutionary, and cool. I am ecstatic and empowered after watching these YouTubers watch a 2-hour advertisement for fake meat. Peace, Reflections.
Whoa! What's up, bigots? 165 bigots in the chat. More people jumping in every moment. We got a bigot with a wrench named Jay Dyer in the chat. What's up, dude? Got all sorts of super chats already, too. What's up, everybody? Thank you for the generous super chats. Really appreciate it. Somebody in the chat said that they were unsubscribed, that YouTube unsubscribed them 2 times from this channel. I've gotten several messages via Instagram showing me screenshots of people that were unsubscribed from the channel. So, I mean, who's surprised at this point? Who's surprised that YouTube is regularly unsubscribing regular viewers? I'm glad some of you got notified. I'm glad some of you found it. If you do want to get notified about these things, we're going to have a way to where you're always going to know when we're doing the live streams. We're going to be starting, we're actually kind of beta testing it right now. We're doing a private Discord server. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a members section where we've got all sorts of perks. We're going to have exclusive content that's available only for members. And unfortunately, because of the way YouTube works, we've got to move towards a different style of getting this stuff out. So that's going to be fun. We're really excited about that. We'll be announcing that really soon. Just a little pre-announcement today. But look at all these people. Look at everyone. You guys ready to do a review of The Game Changers? The game-changing documentary, the 90-minute pea protein isolate advertisement from James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger and like 15 other executive producers who want you to eat plant-based kibble instead of real animal foods because it'll improve your performance, it'll save the planet, it'll make your ding-a-ling work better, and all sorts of other nonsense reasons. We're going to get into this 2-hour lull fest of a film. This documentary that's even more cringy than Cowspiracy, even more misleading than Forks Over Knives. We're going to get into this in a minute. G-Dub, thanks for the $10 super chat, man. Really appreciate it. G-Dub is a regular. He's been around for a while. Really appreciate that super chat, man. Cowatarian, sending $5. Cowatarian's always up in the chat. Much appreciated. JC sends 2 Aussie dollars. Says hugs from Australia, Tristan. And George's Journal. Nice super chat from George's Journal. Really appreciate it, man. Sends $49.99. Says God bless and keep up the great work. Glad I discovered you and Dyer. There you go. We got Jay Dyer up in the chat right now. I'm also glad I discovered Jay Dyer's channel. Glad I got to connect with him and be in that friend zone. Me and Jay in that friend zone. So yeah, dude, appreciate it. Appreciate the super chats, guys. Got one more here. DJ over in Australia as well says, "G'day, bigots. G'day, bigots. All you bigots in Australia. All them bigots in Australia." All right, guys. We're going to do it. It's finally here, you guys. The Game Changers. The documentary that is going to change the world. The documentary that's changing everything. But first, we got to shout out to my buddy, Dr. Sean Baker, who's repping the Eat Meat Make Family shirt in his video today. I got the hoodie on right now. Look at the... You know, it's winter time. It's time to bust out the winter swag. And if you're really trying to start an awkward conversation, if you really want to make people double think, we got to bring out the Eat Meat Make Family shirt. This will bring out the cognitive dissonance out of your local vegans at the farmers market. So you can get this at primaledgehealth.com. There will be a link down in the description below. If you guys do want to support the channel, this is one way to support it. We do get a few bucks off of each one. It's made with organic cotton. And then check out Sean Baker's. He's got the...
Eat Meat, Make Families t-shirt. Check out Primal Edge Health and see his video. It's about 3:30 in the morning here.
There we go. There's a shout out. So Dr. Sean Baker is obviously a shill for Big Me. This is a shill for Big Primal Edge Health. Your check's in the mail, Dr. Baker. And yeah, keep up the good work over there, Sean. If you guys want to see another review of The Game Changers where Sean Baker breaks down every single athlete mentioned in the film and shows how none of them have improved their performance, how many of them have become injured. We're going to get into some of that today, but he's got another review on Game Changers, which is really good. So check out his channel. Of course, you guys probably already know who Dr. Sean Baker is. We got a new recipe up on the website. Jessica just threw this one up today. We got a lot of people who are keto. We got a lot of people who are carnivore. This is a crock pot recipe that anybody can use, whether you're keto or carnivore, easily adapted to carnivore. And yeah, it's available at primaledgehealth.com. Check it out. Check it out if you got a minute. But let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. We've got James Cameron, who has a $140 million investment in a pea protein isolate manufacturing facility. In fact, it's the largest pea protein isolate manufacturing facility in North America, maybe even the world. I'm not sure. I'm not keeping track because I don't eat this shit, right? I don't eat kibble. I don't eat dog food. And even the dogs that eat the pea protein isolate are getting heart disease. Right? As the FDA and USDA have warned people about pea protein isolate and these grain-free, vegan, vegetarian dog foods are giving dogs heart attacks and disease. So I don't eat this stuff, but hey, we've got this great philanthropist, James Cameron, who used $140 million. Right? All that money that he got from all his films like Titanic, like his other military propaganda film, transhumanist propaganda film, Avatar. Right? So he's using that money to change the world. Whose world? His world. Pea protein just got the Cameron bump. Pea protein isolate is a major ingredient in, guess what? Beyond Meat, right? All these fake plant-based meats, which are basically just a bunch of mass-produced corn, wheat, soy, pea protein-based kibble, right? Mass-produced, requires loads of mining to make the machines that will produce them, loads of metals, loads of transport. If these people are telling us this is so sustainable, this is so amazing, James Cameron, who Time Magazine was talking about, he's going to mine the asteroids, right? James Cameron, working with all these space people, Bezos, SpaceX's, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, all the same names that we see pushing globalism, pushing the Fortune 100's fake grassroots revolution for saving the planet because of climate change. James Cameron joins the gang. He wants to mine asteroids to save the planet, guys. So we got to help poor little James Cameron get his vegan future back. And today, we're talking about his film, The Game Changers. The Game Changers. So, start from the beginning, right? It's a good place to start. Starts from the beginning. This film has been endorsed and or accredited by numerous medical and military organizations. However, its content does not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider before making significant lifestyle changes or starting or modifying any treatment. That's a funny introduction. That's a funny intro. What military organizations and medical organizations are endorsing this film? Very, very strange. Now, we talked about how Beyond Meat is being served to the military now. You've got the Air Force talking about serving Beyond Meat, right? Giving that plant-based, sustainable kibble to the troops. To the troops. So it's funny how James Cameron, who basically makes military propaganda films, right? In the WikiLeaks documents where it was revealed that the Pentagon, the State Department, spend a lot of time, money, and energy helping Hollywood produce films. James Cameron, one of the top producers in Hollywood, works very closely with the State Department. And how sweet of the U.S. government to spend our tax money, right? The tax money, I don't even live in the States. I haven't lived in the U.S. for 10 years, yet a major part of my income still goes to the U.S. government, to the IRS, so they can use it to destabilize the country that I live in, right? Destabilize Latin American countries, destabilize the Middle East, destabilize and depopulate all of these areas and implement the Fortune 100 global agenda, right? The extraction of resources, the suppression of populist uprisings, and military dictatorships. My money goes to that. And it also goes to fucking James Cameron so that he can make propaganda films. How lovely. Right. Jay Dyer sends $9.99. Thanks, dude. Really appreciate it, man. Says James Cameron literally films the Mars missions for NASA because space is fake and gay. James Cameron films the Mars missions for NASA, guys, because he loves you so much and he wants to save the planet. He's going to help you mine the asteroids. All right, so it starts out with this image. I got a bunch of notes here. The first scene is actually at Camp Pendleton, right? Camp Pendleton, which I grew up near Camp Pendleton in North County, San Diego. I went to Carlsbad High as a kid. Camp Pendleton was right north of us. I remember we had the Army-Navy Academy kids who used to always come and try to start fights with us as kids. Got a few fights with those Army-Navy kids. But yeah, Camp Pendleton, Southern California Marine Base. First scene is actually there. After an introduction of some unknown athlete hitting a bag, right? Some this boxer that nobody's ever heard of, not a top level athlete, hitting a bag, inspirational music. I'm the champion, like some whack ass rap music. I'm the mother effing champion. That's how it starts out, right? Really silly, really silly. And then we get informed that it was made in association with the Robert and Cheryl Greenberg Trust. The Robert and Cheryl Greenberg Trust. I have so many windows pulled up here. Let's find that. Let's find that Robert and Cheryl Greenberg Trust. Of course, Robert and Cheryl Greenberg are very... Where'd it go? Ugh. The Greenberg Trust. All right, well, there it is. Switch to that tab. Greenberg Trust. The Greenberg family, billionaire family, one of America's richest families, of course, helped to sponsor this film because they just love you so much. All right, Robert and Cheryl Greenberg, they love you so much that they want to give you sustainable kibble instead of real food. Isn't that so nice of them? I think that's really nice of them. So one of the richest families in the world, over $1.5 billion net worth. Remember that? Remember LA Gear? That's funny. LA Gear. Didn't they have the light up sneakers back in the day? I remember LA Gear sneakers from the 90s. Anyways, these billionaires, they just want to help you. They just love you so much. But it was also made in conjunction with, wait, where's that? With the Roddenberry Foundation. The Roddenberry Foundation. Now, what is the Roddenberry Foundation? What is the Roddenberry Foundation? Right, it's always important to look into the funding behind these things. It's always good to look into who's actually putting this propaganda out there, who's actually funding this stuff. I don't know what the budget of the Game Changers it was, but it was significant. They actually shot this film 2 times. They shot the film twice. Eagles Wingsec, what's up? Thanks a lot for the super chat. Sends $4.99. Says great vids. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. So the family that brought you LA Gear and all those whack-ass light-up sneakers of the 90s that no one gives a shit about anymore, the Greenberg family, and the Roddenberry Foundation helped fund this film. Now, what is the Roddenberry Foundation? The Roddenberry Foundation is the Roddenberry Foundation is Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry's foundation. His son started it. The foundation supports a number of environmentalist organizations. Well, that sounds great, right? Environmentalist organizations. Right, well, no, just like Bill Gates, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I think it's just the Bill Gates Foundation now. Just like the Bill Gates Foundation, just like Richard Branson, just like Jeffrey Epstein, right? These philanthropists funding this environmentalist nonsense, funding the fake environmentalist movement, very often have a lot of big investments in industry and and all sorts of other things. They're standing to make loads of money when we transition the economies over to this Green New Deal economy, which we'll talk about a little bit later. The Green New Deal, the New Deal for nature, all this language that's being used to usher in a new financial overhaul, a new financial system based on the financialization of all natural resources in a global system where everything is managed. Right? So the Roddenberry Foundation, Gene Roddenberry, who started Star Trek, very, very interesting character. We don't even have time to get too deeply into Roddenberry, but Gene Roddenberry has a very, very interesting history. Lots of connections. Very, very connected guy. Here, let's just look at. Let's just look. Got the Roddenberry Foundation right here. Here's their website. It's about big, bold ideas that can change the world. So, of course, lots of green, beautiful imagery, pictures of third world countries. Oh, we're going to help the third world countries. We're going to help the planet. Images of, what do you know, solar. They're not solar panels, windmills. Right? The windmill is like the new symbol of nature. Right? They want you to believe that windmills are going to save the planet. Right? That going to so-called fake renewable energy sources, which require loads of mining, loads of material, loads of things like lithium. This new the fourth industrial revolution is going to require lots of these resources. Of course, you also see these big NGOs starting civil unrest and supporting coups in places like Bolivia. Bolivia has huge lithium deposits, and you see, of course, a State Department coup happening over the last month. You see massive political violence, suppression of the indigenous population of Bolivia, and the demonization of the opposition of the president, who's now in Mexico, had to flee the country after this State Department-backed coup in Bolivia. Of course, Bolivia, major resources are there. And who wants those resources? The big money interests want those resources. So it's just kind of funny to me that the creator of Star Trek funded this film, Gene Roddenberry, who put a lot of... I don't really know a lot about Gene Roddenberry, but when you watch Star Trek, like remember the Federation of Planets image? It's the UN logo. It's the UN logo. There's a lot of like Freemasonic imagery there. I'm not sure if he's an actual Freemason, but lots of Freemasonic imagery. He identifies as a communist, right? So we have an internationalist communist who made a series all about this global utopia, this globalist utopia, where, of course, technocracy rules. David sends $10. Thanks a lot, David. Appreciate it, man. I want to really thank everybody for all the super chats. Definitely helps. We do get demonetized. People get unsubbed from this. Somebody told me in the chat today, they were unsubbed twice from the channel, which is crazy. Jay says Roddenberry was an atheist who was actually Luciferian. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the transhumanist stuff all throughout Star Trek, it's very obvious that he was definitely into the kind of Luciferian Freemasonic philosophy, which many people in media obviously are. Right? So he hung out with a psychic channeler called Phyllis Schlemmer, who was channeling messages from the Council of Nine. Does that sound familiar? All right, so hanging out with channelers, hanging out with all these really new agey people. Really involved with SRI and Esalen as well, Gene Roddenberry. I said we weren't going to get too much into Gene Roddenberry. We're spending too much time on him. We got to move on, though. So Gene Roddenberry, the Roddenberry Foundation, helped get this one made. Pretty crazy. Pretty fascinating. All right, so the Roddenberry Foundation, we're done with that. Greenberg family, billionaires, also funded this. And then the Quinn Foundation. It's not as interesting as the other foundations, but nonetheless, fascinating that these big foundations are funding this. And this really lines up with when we see the big foundations funding the plant-based dietary guidelines, the Eat Lancet, right? A lot of the people associated with this film, The Game Changer, are also involved with the Eat Lancet Commission, pushing for planetary dietary guidelines of a plant-based diet, right? A plant-based food system, they're saying. It's like Extinction Rebellion with all their occult imagery, the death imagery, one-eyed skulls, and these runes on their hands, what's it called, the Red Brigade, and doing these mock human sacrifices. Extinction Rebellion, also funded by big foundations, also pushing this climate crisis narrative and want a plant-based food system. How convenient for James Cameron. So then we jump into the first scene, which is, guess what? The military, right? Camp Pendleton. So the troops need to go plant-based because this guy, Wilkes, former UFC fighter, who was an accomplished UFC fighter back when he was eating animal foods, right? Who was an accomplished UFC fighter. He actually won the Ultimate Fighter one of the seasons. I don't know if it was, I think it might have been the second season. There's so many Ultimate Fighter seasons. They do like 3 a year, or they used to. I don't think they do it anymore. But much like Nate Diaz, this guy was a Ultimate Fighter competitor, and here he is training the Marines, right? You don't just walk onto Camp Pendleton with a camera. You don't just walk on there with a film crew. Right? Very obvious that there was military involvement in the making of this film. They facilitated him training these troops, and it showed Camp Pendleton. And so, of course, you got military involvement here. And he goes on to talk about Bruce Lee. He grew up and he just wanted to be like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was so awesome. Bruce Lee was his hero. He wants to be like Bruce Lee. So I really like this screenshot, though, because it actually demonstrates exactly what people should do when they're looking at possibly adopting a plant-based diet, eating plant-based kibble instead of real animal foods. If they're thinking about going plant-based for performance, first of all, research your own experience. Right? Your own experience, your own N=1, your own personal experience is going to be the best indicator of if this diet will improve your performance, will improve your health, will be good for you. All right, so let's keep that in mind as we listen to some of the other points that get made in this film. And maybe we'll come back to this at the end. All right, he says, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, and also add what is specifically your own. All right, so, okay, not bad advice there. Not sure where he's going with this. And then we move on. He talks about how he was injured. He injured his knee, needed surgery or something, and his knee wasn't working. And he was trying to figure out how to heal from this injury. And then he heard all about the Gladiators. The Gladiators was vegan, y'all. The Gladiators were vegans. So this is one of the best examples of how stupid this narrative is. The Gladiator narrative in the Game Changers is so revealing of how dishonest and manipulative and how just dumbed down this propaganda is. So the Gladiators, right? The Gladiators were vegan. And they say, oh look, there's more strontium in their bones, and it emits a different color when you burn their bones. Therefore, the Gladiators were vegan. And so they're referencing a single study that was done in Turkey on a population, not a population, but on the remains of gladiators. Now, what were the gladiators? This is very, very important to understand. What were the Gladiators? Because in the Game Changers, he's like, this is amazing. I can't believe it. The Gladiators, they were so well taken care of. They had the best medical care. And they were like these heroes. And they were the greatest athletes and the greatest fighters. I want to be like the Gladiators, right? So this Hollywoodized image of what the Gladiators really are is just completely wrong. So the Gladiators were not kings. They were not gods among men. The Gladiators were human sacrifice slaves. The Gladiators were people who were conquered. The Gladiators were slaves. The Gladiators were human sacrifice victims. And this is what allegedly convinced this dude to go vegan, which is obviously bullshit, right? The guy set out to make this documentary. Right? He set out to make this documentary, and this fits into the narrative, and this fits into who they want to be kind of advertising towards. Right? So, of course, you start out with the military. It talks about military involvement in the film. First scene, Camp Pendleton. Right? They're going for young people. They're going towards millennials. They're going towards people who want to feel manly. Right? The Gladiators. Right? They were athletes. They were amazing athletes. Right? No. The Gladiators were killed. Were murdered. The Gladiators were human sacrifice slaves who were fed the lowest quality food because the elite get the meat. right? So the gladiators were not these, let's see, where's the other? The gladiators were not these highly pampered little princes and princesses. The gladiators were not Lionel Messi. The gladiators were not Cristiano Ronaldo. They weren't these international superstars who were worshipped. The gladiators were ritualistically sacrificed. The gladiators were slaves, and they were fed slave chow, which in this situation just happened to be mostly plant-based. Right? Of course, they weren't vegan. They weren't actually vegan. And the word vegan isn't used one time in the film. The word vegan is not used a single time in this film. Right? So these gladiators were fed slop. They were fed grains. But there were gladiators that have been studied, their bones have been studied, and other groups where they were closer to the ocean and they were eating more fish. All right, so misrepresenting what the gladiators actually ate, but also misrepresenting what they actually were. Right now, dummies will buy into this stuff. The average normie has no historical context to anything. They're just like, oh, gladiators, that's sick, dude. I want to be a gladiator, dude. Gladiators were so rad. If I'm just a gladiator, it'll be so lit. If I just eat a plant-based diet, I'll be like a gladiator, bro. No. Gladiators were like fighting dogs, and they were treated like dogs. Right? Now, what do you do to a fighting dog to train it and to get it to fight? Well, you keep it in a cage, and you malnourish it. All right, so the gladiators also, and in the very study that they reference, in this film, they speak about how the gladiators likely ate the diet that they ate to fatten them up, so that they would have an extra fat layer over them, so that when they had lacerations and when they were cut, they would bleed, they'd put on a show, but they wouldn't necessarily die. So they wanted to keep them pudgy. Right? If you're going into battle and all your veins are popping out, right? All somebody's got to do, you could see the spots where you want to wound, right? So having a layer of fat if you're going into physical combat, very, very important, especially if you're going to be getting lacerations and stuff. But when you think about how you treat a slave that's bred to fight, a slave that's made to be sacrificed in battle, you're not going to feed that thing the greatest food ever. In fact, what you're going to do to increase their aggression, just like with pit bulls, these people fight, which obviously it's terrible that people fight dogs. I'm not saying like dog fighting is cool or anything, but what they do to get those dogs to fight is they starve them. Some of the techniques to increase aggression are keeping them hungry. So these gladiators were very likely being intentionally deprived of the most important foods because they would fight better. It would be more entertaining. And also you wanted to have them a little bit fattened up so that they could put on a good show. So the gladiators, terrible example. One of the stupidest things they could say is, oh, look, the gladiators were vegan. Right, but that's how they start the film out. And he pretends that, oh, I'm going to go vegan because the gladiators were vegan. And I was going to be a famous UFC fighter, so therefore I got to eat like the gladiators. Nonsense. And so then they go on to talk about Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor. Nate Diaz is not a vegan. Nate Diaz is very fond of shellfish and fish. We talked about this like 2 or 3 streams ago. I think it was like 3 streams back. Nate Diaz, not vegan. Not vegan at all. What the film does, which is very, very misleading, is they try to make it seem like the first McGregor-Diaz fight was all about meat-based versus plant-based. So they even took some clips out of context to make it seem like McGregor was taunting Nate for being a vegan. Right? He was talking about a gazelle. Oh, I'm a lion. I'm gonna run you down like a gazelle. There's some nonsense like that, some stupid shit that he came up with. It was spouting off before the fight, so it was part of why it was really entertaining to watch McGregor get the shit beat out of him in that fight, was how much shit he talked to Nate. And so they talk about, oh, well, look, Nate Diaz won that fight. Therefore, plant-based athletes are better. Plant-based is superior. And they took a clip of McGregor saying, look, I wasn't really taking training as seriously. He was making excuses, right? He was like, you know what, I was waking up every day and eating steak and eggs for the 8 days before the fight. Basically saying he was kind of out of shape. He wasn't training as much. Should have trained harder, whatever. He's making excuses. So they took that out of context and made it seem like, look, McGregor ate steak and eggs, therefore he lost to Nate Diaz. Total bullshit. Total bullshit. All right. Dude, all right, this guy. Look, I don't mind people peppering the chat with loads of comments. It just gets annoying when it's like every time. When you're talking about Anunnaki and shit. We're talking about Anunnaki in the chat. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about, dude. If you're off topic, you're going to get timed out. And if you keep having to get timed out, you might just get banned. All right, so UFC fight. Oh, McGregor lost to Diaz. Therefore, plant-based is better. Well, they don't talk about the second fight, the second Diaz-McGregor fight. McGregor won. Split decision. Won the fight. So was that because plant-based versus meat-based? Obviously not, right? But they want you to think it is. Nonsense. All right, then we move on, and we've got this guy. I had a screenshot of his name. I forget his name. What is this guy's name? James Loomis. He's a former team physician of the St. Louis Rams. And this is where it starts to get even more stupid, even more misleading. So he starts to expound upon the necessity of carbohydrate for performance, right? He says carbohydrates are the primary fuel for physical exertion. We need glycogen levels. We need our glycogen to be filled up. And if you replace carbohydrates with protein, you're going to have lower glycogen levels, he says, which is actually false. Okay? But then he also says that there is a misconception. He says there's a misconception that protein is going to give you energy. That protein is there for energy. If you're an athlete, you need protein for energy. Just, I don't know at what point in the editing process they decided to go with this narrative, but it doesn't make any sense. Nobody believes that protein is an energy source, right? Anybody who's been around fitness, nutrition, athletics understands that protein is not an energy source. Carbohydrate and fat are the energy sources. All right? Fat is actually the energy source that the body stores in the most abundance. Fat is a very viable energy source. Of course, they don't talk about that at all in this film, right? They want you to believe that it's all about carbs. Carbs are what are going to give you the performance edge. You don't need fat. You don't need protein. You just need the carbs. You just need the plants. All right, so he says, if you replace carbohydrates with protein, you're going to get glycogen depletion, which is totally nonsensical, right? We all know that protein can be used for energy, that protein can be turned into glycogen, right? And that through the process of gluconeogenesis, protein and fat can both be used to create glycogen, to refill glycogen stores. And after intense resistance exercise, after intense training, even without eating anything, your body will naturally refill its glycogen stores rather rapidly. So glycogen does not require carbohydrates. But this guy makes this insane assertion, this pudgy doctor called James Loomis. This pudgy-ass doctor who used to be the team physician for the NFL St. Louis Rams, and I think another team, makes this assertion. So they're trying to confuse people. They're setting up a fake straw man of saying, look, protein isn't for energy, carbs are for energy, which is just really ridiculous. So I was pretty disappointed in that. I mean, I think anybody who's familiar with exercise physiology, anybody who's familiar with nutrition, just has a basic level of nutritional knowledge, anybody who's done athletics understands that protein isn't your primary source of fuel, right? Fat and carbohydrate are fuel sources. Energy is building block macronutrient. It's there to build tissues. All right, so really nonsensical there. So then he says that, the narrator, Wilkes, the former UFC fighter Wilkes, says that, the originator of the idea that protein is needed for energy. He says, I wanted to know how this whole meat gives you energy thing got started, which is not even a thing. Right? The meat gives you energy thing, it's not even a thing. All right? Well, yes, meat is needed to build the body. Animal foods, animal proteins are the only bioavailable, digestible source of protein, unless you have, pea protein isolate, a bunch of manufactured, middleman, mass-produced kibble shit like they want to sell you. Meat is the only bioavailable source of protein. Right? Animal foods, the only bioavailable source of essential fatty acids and amino acids that our body needs. And he makes the false assertion that there's a thing about meat gives you energy. The meat gives you energy thing, which is nonsense. So he claims this guy, Justus von Liebig. Justus von Liebig started the whole meat fad in the 1800s. So he just started this whole thing. This scientist, Justus von Liebig, sorry, I scribbled the name really shittily. I'm probably reading it wrong. Von Liebig started in the 1800s with a claim that vegetarians were incapable of prolonged exercise. And so just straw man's meat, right? Oh, this guy started the whole meat thing. Well, let's not talk about how all throughout human history man has eaten meat. Right? Throughout the history of mankind, we've been eating animal foods. Right? No, it just started in the 1800s, right? Everything before the 1800s, we must have all been vegan. We were all plant-based before the 1800s. Total nonsense. All right, so meat for health and performance did not start in the 1800s. Okay, so at some point around this, they introduced the term plant-based. All right, so remember, they still haven't said the word vegan once. The word vegan has not showed up one time in this, right? So they talk about plant-based, the plant-based diet. What is the plant-based diet? They never even define it. Right? So the whole time throughout this film, they're not talking about vegan. They're basically just saying, hey, eat less meat, eat more plants. And they regularly show people going through drive-thrus, people eating fake meat. Right? So basically, it's an hour and a half long advertisement for pea protein isolate and for fake meat shit, fake meat kibble that nobody wants. Right? Of course, they're creating loads of demand by pumping in hundreds of millions of dollars into advertising this stuff. Remember, Beyond Meat was like $1 billion company before the IPO. Beyond Meat, where did that money go? Where did all the hundreds of millions of dollars go before it got pumped and dumped, right? The stock has gone down ridiculously, Beyond Meat. We talked about this a couple streams back. Where did that all go? Where did that all go? Well, it went into advertising. It went into creating consumer demand, fake consumer demand, telling you, manufacturing your consent that this is good, that this is great, that this is healthy. So plant-based gets introduced, and they start talking about protein. Right? And, of course, they bring out the basic bitch arguments of protein comes from plants. So in this screenshot, one of the infographics they've got there, protein comes from plants. Look, the cow's just the middleman, they say. The cow's just the middleman. All plants contain protein. All plants contain amino acids. Of course, they don't mention at all the bioavailability, right? The bioavailability of the protein in these plant foods being incredibly low. Take out these damn headphones. I hate using headphones. Oops. But I might have to use them later because we got some clips that we can watch too. So the bioavailability of plant foods, incredibly low. The bioavailability of the protein in that plant foods is inhibited by digestive enzyme inhibitors that are in these plant foods, right? So you're eating the beans, you're eating the rice, you're eating the chickpeas, the lentils, the slippies. What are slippies? Split peas. Split peas. Dr. Greger calls them slippies. I didn't have to finish a joke and Jessica giggles. The worst audience for trying to be funny. She laughs before I say a damn joke. I've already got her before the joke even comes out. So, yeah, all the plants come from protein, bro. Cut out the middleman, right? They don't even talk about, of course, these animals are needed to process indigestible plant matter that we can't digest at all into digestible protein. Right? They don't talk about digestive enzyme inhibitors that are in these plant foods. They don't talk about how you can only get enough protein in a bioavailable form if you're doing processed refined protein powders, right? The amino acid levels of all these plant foods are not balanced correctly for human physiology, or as meat, animal foods, beef, chicken, fish, milk, eggs, the essential animal foods, the foods that you can produce on your own land, the foods that you don't need a $150 million pea protein isolate facility owned by James Cameron, who wants to mine asteroids and gets DARPA Pentagon money. We don't need his help. We don't need him as a middleman, right? So they want to tell you the cow is a middleman, the chicken's a middleman. The poor suffering chickens and cows and cockroaches that we want to make you drink their milk now are the middleman. Let's cut the middleman out and let James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bill Gates, Big Ag, Big Pharma, Monsanto, Bayer, Cargill, Archer Daniels, Midlands, let's let them be the middleman. Let's just eat the grain directly, right? So, of course, later on in the film, they also use as a straw man the factory farming system, which obviously we've talked about many times. The factory farming system is completely atrocious. But what caused, what created, what built the factory farming system? Well, with the help of the Pentagon, the State Department, with the help of universities like Harvard, the factory farming system was created through the Rockefeller Foundation, through the big foundations, the big money interest, the multi-generational money from big oil to consolidate the food supply even further. All right, so if you want to learn a little bit more about this, I've recommended many times, a good place to start, F. William Engdahl's book, Seeds of Destruction, where he talks all about, I've got it here, Seeds of Destruction. This book, The Seeds of Destruction, the Hidden Agenda of Genetic Manipulation, gets into the green revolution, the gene revolution, who funded it, who bankrolled it, and how this is a multi-generational plan to consolidate the food supply, to control resources, and ultimately to reduce population. Right, so Henry Kissinger said, control oil, you control the nations. Control food, you control the people. Right, so they say, the cow's the middleman. Hey, let's get rid of that cow. All you bigots making those cows suffer, don't you want to save the planet? Don't you want to stop global warming? Get rid of your animals. Let me be the middleman. Right? Let's let Big Ag and Big Pharma be the middleman. That's what they're telling us. All right, so then there's another one. They talk about required protein. Check it out. Meat eater versus plant eater. I haven't even looked at this study, but this infographic says it all, just how dumb it is. Check it out. A meat eater is going to get 70% more protein than a plant eater. That's not what they said. I don't know if it's 70%. Let's see if I wrote that down. The meat eater is going to get more protein than the plant eater. Rejoice. It's amazing. It's amazing. I didn't write down the actual stat. It's funny. I went through the film and I took screenshots on the PC, and I realized that the screenshots were not saving in my screenshot folder. So I had to go back on my Mac and take screenshots again. I don't know what's up with Windows. I'm not that good with Windows these days. So anyways, this infographic says it all. Required protein. Check it out. The meat eater has such little protein, but the plant eater gets so much proton. All those protons the plant eater's getting. He's collecting all those protons. Collecting protons like Pokemons. Got to catch them all. Really, really stupid, right? So, plant eaters get more protein. Well, they don't talk about the importance of leucine, right? The leucine threshold for muscle protein synthesis. They leave out a lot of stuff. They don't talk about bioavailability. They say all plants contain all the amino acids, but they don't talk about how those amino acids need to be in the correct ratios for us to use them and digest them, right? And also the enzyme inhibitors that are in these plant foods will inhibit digestion of these proteins. They don't talk about this at all. Very, very misleading. Okay, so then we got, let's see what happens next. What's coming up? What's going on? All right, done with that paper. Okay. I don't know what Baboomian's doing there. There we go. This guy, for those of you who don't know, this is Patrick Babooby-Man. Patrick Babooby-Man is a 4'7" obese wannabe strongman who pads his resume with a bunch of fake records. Hasn't broken any legitimate records. In fact, his yoke walk that they use at the end of the film is far less than the yoke walk that they did at like the 2017 Arnold, right? This guy's bragging about his yoke walk when legitimate strongman athletes, the real strongmen, the real strongest men in the world, which he's not one of them, are doing like 300 pounds more than he's doing on these lifts. So Patrick Babooby Man is gives a lot of cringe moments in the film, which is really funny. Let's see. Now, we've got the parlor trick of the cloudy blood. The cloudy blood parlor trick. So this, another very, very misleading section, right? Just as dumb as the Gladiator section, but this one will actually convince a lot of dummies and normies, right? A lot of dummies and normies are going to fall for this stuff. They've been told fat is bad. They've been told fat in your blood is going to make you have heart disease, which we've gone through over the last 6 years on this channel so many times, why this is untrue, why this whole diet heart hypothesis, this lipid hypothesis of cardiovascular disease being caused by cholesterol is nonsense. Your body makes cholesterol. Your body needs cholesterol. Your brain's made out of cholesterol. Every cell of your body contains cholesterol. Low cholesterol is predictive of cancer 10 to 15 years before diagnosis. Low cholesterol is highly associated with more all-cause mortality, meaning you die more of all causes if you have low cholesterol. With high cholesterol, you have a lower chance of dying. With high cholesterol, you actually, even if you have a heart attack, right, which people with low cholesterol have just as many heart attacks as people with high cholesterol, those with high cholesterol survive more. Why are we being told to lower our cholesterol? Absolute nonsense. So you can check out Dave Feldman, his work at cholesterolcode.com. There are a lot of really good advocates out there who are promoting good information about cholesterol and who are bringing the conversation forward. But, of course, these guys are going to use the same old tried and true method of fear-mongering about fat. So what they do is they give a bean burrito to somebody, and then they give a beef burrito to somebody. They take their blood, put it in a centrifuge. Right, the plasma separates, and then you can see how much fat was actually in the blood. And voila, what do you know? After the beef burrito, there's more fat in the blood than with the bean burrito. Oh my goodness, what a game changer. Wow. Right, but what they don't talk about is, if you eat a mixed meal, if you're eating a meal that contains fat and carbohydrate, yes, you're going to have postprandial triglycerides go up. Right? After you eat, the triglycerides are going to go up. This is why when people are doing lipid tests, when they're getting their cholesterol tested, they're supposed to do it fasted. Because when you eat fat, that energy source goes into your blood. Guess what? If you're fasting, your cholesterol levels also go up. Right? But all these people talk about the great benefits of fasting. Right? Fasting also puts you into a ketogenic state where you're burning fat, which is stored ubiquitously throughout your body. Fat, which is essential. Fat, which you store in more abundance than any other energy source in your body. Okay? When you eat a meal of fat mixed with carbohydrates, the carbohydrates will actually decrease fat mobilization. Right? So you eat a mixed meal like that, that fat's going to stay in the blood longer. Lipolysis is inhibited. Re-esterification is stimulated, and you're not going to clear that fat from your blood. But if you were to do the same experiment with a high-fat meal with no carbohydrate, you'd see very different results, right? So very, very misleading parlor trick of, oh my goodness, look, there's fat in the blood. You're going to die because there's fat in the blood. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Right? You eat carbs and fat, glucose is going to decrease the fat mobilization. Right? Playing games here. All right, so then, next scene, after they talk about fat in the blood, they show these athletes, I guess they're like college athletes or something, I don't know, some guys who they thought would look like, looked dumb enough to put their faces in the film. They threw some derp faces up there. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, the fat in my blood. All right, so they got their shot. And then Wilkes says, you know what, I'm convinced, I'm going plant-based. I'm going to go through a drive-thru at this Sabrosada fresh Mexican food. So he goes through the drive-thru I shit you not. And it's the scene is like supposed to be inspirational. And they ask him, he says, "Let me get a bean burrito." And she's like, "Was that a beef burrito?" And he's like, "No, bean burrito." So he gets the bean burrito instead of the beef burrito because you don't want to get the fat in your blood. You don't want that fat in your blood. So another weird little straw man, another weird little manipulative tactic there. Let me come over to the chat. What's up, guys? Let's see if we got any super chats. Appreciate all the super chats and the support, guys. Really do appreciate it. Always helpful. These videos get demonetized, get thrown in the back of the algorithm. I'm not seeing any new super chats. All right. So, fat in the blood. Oh, so bad. Let me go buy some fast food bean burrito. What a joke. All right. So then they throw up another infographic at one point talking about what is in plants and what is in animal foods. Right? Incredibly manipulative, nonsensical infographic with all these big words that most people don't know what they are. Heterocyclic amines, TMAO, heme iron, new 5GC, AGEs, endotoxins. All right. All these bad things are in meat, and all the good things are in plants. Look what's in plants. Lignans, flavonoids, carotenoids, lycopene, vitamin C, and fiber. Ooh, fiber. We need fiber. Fiber. Indigestible fiber. Give me more fiber. We want to fart. We want to fart and we want to poop all day long. All right, so his dad had a heart attack. All right, forgot to talk about that part. So after they talk about the fat in the blood, they move on to heart attack. Fear-mongering about heart attacks. Oh my goodness, my dad had a heart attack. Man, I wonder if it was all the fat in his blood. All right, then they go to Dr. Esselstyn. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. His son, Rip Esselstyn. Right. Caldwell Esselstyn is a vegan advocate, been around for a long time. He's actually a very, very prominent guy in the plant-based diet movement. And Esselstyn, also, you know what's funny? Esselstyn was also a Skull and Bones member. He went to Yale University and graduated. When did he graduate? I think it was in the 40s. I had a tab pulled up, but yeah, if you check out Esselstyn, you just look at his Wikipedia. Not that Wikipedia is legitimate research, right? Wikipedia, not that Wikipedia is the greatest place, but Wikipedia will give you some interesting information about Esselstyn and his history as a bonesman. So Esselstyn, along with George W. Bush, along with John Kerry, along with who else? Right, the Dulles brothers. Anyways, Skull and Bones. Right? Skull and Bones, actually, the Russell Trust is the money behind Skull and Bones from the Russell family. The Russell family involved in opium trafficking, essentially a pirate degenerate opiate spreading family. The Russells ran Skull and Bones, so I just think that's real funny. So they go to Esselstyn, and he tells everyone, go vegan. Right? Esselstyn starts telling all these dudes, go vegan. He's a former firefighter, they call him, /triathlete /author. Right, so Rip Esselstyn, the son of Caldwell Esselstyn, right? His dad went to Yale University in the secret society Skull and Bones, hanging out with Prescott Bush, George W. Bush, John Kerry, right? The dudes who started the CIA, the Skull and Bones. Rip Esselstyn, he's a former firefighter, right? No, Rip Esselstyn is a trust fund kid whose father is a multi-millionaire elite, a member of one of the most elite secret societies in the WASP establishment, right? That's who this is, right? So he's a firefighter, and look, he shows a picture of an artery. And he says, check it out. Look at this nice, clean artery. That's what an artery should look like. Then he shows bad, clogged artery. I don't have a screenshot of it now. And he says, this is what a meat artery looks like. This is what a meat eater's artery looks like. Cowitarian, what's up? Cowitarian sent $2. Much appreciated. I don't know if I've done a single live stream in the last month where Cowitarian hasn't thrown in some love and support. Appreciate it. So yeah, Esselstyn says, look at this picture of an artery. Just like they would show you those pictures of those lungs, right? They show you a messed up lung with a diseased lung and say, this is a smoker's lung. They do the same thing. This is a meat eater's artery, which is completely nonsensical. The assertion that meat clogs your arteries, that animal foods, that fat is bad for your arteries, has been debunked so many times. Right? Heart disease, the driver of heart disease, is not fat, is not cholesterol. So, got a lot of streams on that. Got a lot of information on the cholesterol issue. Check out some of the streams I've done with Dave Feldman if you want to learn more about that. So, the false lipid hypothesis, the unproven diet heart hypothesis, the discredited diet heart hypothesis, of course, used always by the vegans who want to fearmonger and tell you you're going to die of a heart attack. But they don't mention that the number one killer of vegans and vegetarians is what? What is it? It's heart disease. That's right. Everybody who said heart disease, that's right. For those of you who said non-veganism, sorry, you're wrong. Non-veganism, according to the vegans, is why everyone else dies. Vegans only die maybe because they did it wrong, I guess, or they were never really vegan. You did the cult wrong. So they go to Dean Ornish, Walter Willett. You guys want to know a little bit about Dean Ornish? Check out my stream on Swami Dean Ornishananda, the New Age guru of veganism, who converted to veganism, had a religious conversion to veganism after he met a dude that calls himself a Swami, right? So he met this enlightened being, and he told him that you must stop eating the animals if you want to be enlightened, and you'll be so happy, and it will be so lit if you stop eating the animals and tell everybody else to not eat animals and to sterilize themselves and chemically castrate themselves on vegan diet. So Ornish converted after meeting this Swami, actually it was the Woodstock guru, I forget the guy's name, another one of these false prophets of modernity. And so yeah, Ornish, another one of these false prophets of veganism. Walter Willett of Harvard University, infamous vegan advocate, infamously dishonest vegan advocate from Harvard, who's always pushing this anti-meat stuff. Of course it comes out of Harvard, right? And if you read Seeds of Destruction, you understand that Harvard University played a major role in the genetic modification revolution and in the green revolution as well. So, Harvard University, hotbed of degeneracy, hotbed of globalism. David Rockefeller runs the Center for Latin American Studies at Harvard University. The Center for Latin American Studies at Harvard University, run by David Rockefeller. Harvard, notoriously corrupt. Remember Jeffrey Epstein, also really tied in with all these Harvard elite like Steven Pinker and these other degenerates. So, yeah, Walter Willett, Ornish, talking about some cherry-picked epidemiology, which is what the vegans always bring to the table, right? Always the cherry-picked epidemiology, which is population studies where they give you a survey. That survey says, how many cups of meat did you eat per day? And then they will calculate your risk of heart disease, or they'll follow up in 14 years, and they'll see how many people died who said they ate 3 cups of ribs on this survey, which most people don't answer correctly. So, nonsensical epidemiology, which is terrible, very unscientific. They use this to back up their claims. Then we have another section where they speculate on what our ancestors ate. They speculate using faulty anthropology, what our ancestors ate. Right? So they say, well, the reason people think we used to eat meat is just because we used to use tools, and the stone tools last and bone fragments last, but plants degrade, so we couldn't see all the plants that everyone was eating. And of course, they call upon evolution. They say, look, we came from monkeys. Monkeys are herbivores. They don't mention, of course, that monkeys and all apes eat other monkeys. They also eat lots of insects and small animals as well. So very dishonest there also. Whoa, we got another super chat. George's Journal, what's up, dude? Appreciate it, man. Look at that, George's Journal. George's Journal, who's dominating the super chat competition. Georgia Journal won the super cat. Thanks, dude. Says 99.99 says vegans die of doing it wrongism. Vegans die of doing it wrongism. But George, remember, those vegans, if they stop being vegan, which I guess when you die, you technically stop being vegan, they were never really vegan, according to all the cultists on YouTube. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate the super chat. Really appreciate everybody who helps support the channel here. Much obliged, guys. So, yeah, We Was Berry Pickers, they say, just like Dr. Clapper. If you guys want to check out the We Was Berry Pickers, I don't know if that was a stream or if it was, I think it was a shorter video about Dr. Eric Clapper, who wants you to spend all your day on the crapper because you're on a vegan diet. He says We Was Berry Pickers, and they also say we was herbivores, yo. We was herbivores. We just accidentally started eating meat in the 1800s when some guys said we need it for energy. Derp. Right? Just derp level 1000 on this one. So just the typical vegan arguments. Then they even talk about B12. And they make the laughable argument that we hear so many vegans make. They say, oh, B12, that just comes from the dirt. And we used to eat the dirt. And we used to get B12 from the dirt. And we used to drink the stream water and we get the B12 from the stream water. Mind blown. Whoa, dude. I'm sold now. B12 was from dirt. Right? The only bioavailable source of B vitamins is animal foods, right? High levels of vitamin B12 are only found in animal foods. These dishonest vegans are going to say that, yeah, you get that stuff from eating... from eating dirt. Okay. So, let's talk about... Arnold Schwarzenegger jumps in at this point. He talks all about, I used to eat meat. I gotta hear Arnold's voice. I can't do an Arnold impression. I'm terrible with an Arnold impression, but... I've never even been to Mars. But I've never even been to Mars. He talks about I used to eat meat. I thought it was so essential. But now I learned I don't need it. And also... I don't even miss it. Well, it's so funny because Arnold, I don't know if you guys remember, Arnold in his recent video where they went through a tour in his kitchen, still eats eggs, put eggs in his plant-based smoothie, but also said that his favorite food to eat is a steak. His favorite food to eat is a steak. So Arnold, who's not a vegan, of course, pushing all this nonsense. He married into the Shrivers, married into the Kennedys, basically. He is shilling it. Best friends with Greta Thunberg. How dare you? How dare you not want my vegan kibble? You are stealing my vegan dystopian future. He's good friends with Greta. He was going to lend her his vegetable oil running Hummer so that she can burn Monsanto and Bayer vegetable oil and save the planet in his Hummer. Bunch of bullshit. So he says, meat doesn't make you manly. That's just marketing. Right? That's just marketing. Meat doesn't make you manly. That's just marketing. But bean burritos make you manly, right? Pea protein isolate, that makes you manly. Right? A plant-based bean burrito, that's going to make you manly. And that's the next section, right? So then meat doesn't make you manly. But check it out. These bean burritos are going to give you bigger boners. That's legitimately the next section. I'm not lying. Meat-free burritos, meatless burritos, give you better boners while you sleep with a machine attached to your ding-a-ling. So this guy, the aptly named Dr. Aaron Spitz, does another parlor trick. We'll call this the boner parlor trick. And this is how stupid these people think we are. This is how dumb they think we are. All right, let me see if plant-based. We'll pull up the plant-based news. We watched this video like a year and a half ago, but remember, this documentary has been under production for years. This has been under production for years, and they even reshot it. Right, once James Cameron came, they refilmed it, and here it is. Nice, perfect. I'm gonna need the headphones. You're right. Thank you.
Many people.
We'll talk about this section where Dr. Aaron Spitz thinks that you are going to emphatically swallow this bullshit that he's about to spit all over you. Dr. Aaron Spitz does the boner parlor trick, the boner bean burrito magic trick.
Still think brute strength comes from eating protein, specifically meat protein. But a new documentary is turning the spotlight on the benefits of an all-plant diet and how adopting it can push you past previous limits. That doc is called The Game Changers.
There's one great scene in there with a urologist named Aaron Spitz, and they have these 3 young athletes, and they feed them a plant-based meal, and then they measure at night how frequently and how hard their erections are, and then they do a meat-based meal and do the same thing, and they found they had 300 to 500% more frequent erections and 10 to 15% harder after just one meal. Now, we've reported about this. Your brain gets less blood flow, your heart gets less blood flow if you eat a single high-fat, high-animal protein meal, and that didn't really impress people so much. But when you show that your sexual organs, apparently the film crew became.
So this is obviously complete bullshit, right? But we have to consider also, when they did this experiment, the way that they conducted it is when they gave them the bean burrito and they gave them the plant-based burrito that gave them the better boners. It was on the second night, right? So the first night they wire these dudes up to this machine, and they sleep with this thing connected to their wang. And it measures the hardness of their penis. And then the second night, they had more. They had more harder wieners the second night. But what they don't tell you is the second day, the food was actually served by Dr. Gregor. So I don't know. Dr. Gregor actually served them the bean burritos. So the penometer maybe was detecting the virility from the great Dr. Gregor. I don't know, but let's continue here.
Vegan after shooting this scene. I think that's going to change a lot of minds.
I think the sort of embarrassing to talk about, but the tests that we did. So first we did 3 live experiments in the film. One was on the 3 members of the Miami Dolphins to look at blood flow, and you saw that, the difference that a single meal can make. And we thought to ourselves, I wonder if a single meal can affect sexual performance, in particular for men, erectile function. Sort of strange to talk about. So we found 3 willing college athletes from Orange County, near where James lives, who were willing to do this test. And the film, gets into a little more. But
you're trying to prove to men that an all-plant diet gives you sustenance and power and vitality, I guess.
Yeah, and it only made sense, if we saw increased blood flow in the Miami Dolphins for athletics, that there might be increased blood flow to other areas of the body as well. So that was a pretty surprising thing to discover.
Got some exclusive info about the Game Changers, which is, when is it coming out?
That's one thing about the Game Changers.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine.
This year for sure, right?
This year for sure. I know they're trying to get the right deal. They've had offers, from what I understand, but
the right distribution deal.
Yes. Yeah, the right distribution deal, because they want to reach the largest possible audience.
If you could measure Klaus's erection right there, it would be off the charts.
Powerful men, physically, is in this documentary. Were you going after him the whole time when you found out that he was going to participate? What did you think?
I mean, it's executively produced by James Cameron, and James Cameron and Arnold are good friends, and so it was a pretty natural extension. And Arnold had been researching this himself. And once you start doing the research, you'll come to the same conclusions, that eating more plants is better for performance. And so obviously it was exciting for Joseph and I to get Arnold in the film.
In a nutshell, why are you excited about this documentary?
I think it's going to change the world. I think this is going to be the movie that does it. Too many times in history there's been tipping points, and one event sways the general public in a direction that it wasn't before. And I think this movie is going to be one of them.
Yeah, this movie is going to change the world, guys. I thought there's another clip where they actually did show it. We got a super chat, the narrow path. What's that? $2 super chat says, just for the record, my wiener is like stone. That's awesome. You must have had that bean burrito. All right, so we got plant-based beef, plant-based chicken, plant-based pork, and it gives them better erections with a 303% increase in erections for this guy. which is completely unscientific experiment. Just absolute nonsense parlor trick. Then we move on. We got some NFL players eating a plant-based slop meal of fake meat made for them. Let's see. Yeah, plant-based, fake meat. Then, another classic section where they use the classic shitty vegan arguments that meat is just like smoking. All right, so then he says, well, there was all this advertising for smoking that was on sports. All the sports stars were advertising smoking, and there was ads for cigarettes in all the magazines. But when that was made illegal, they needed to advertise something else. So they advertised meat. So, meat's just like smoking, trying to get you subconsciously associate meat with smoking. Conflating smoking with meat. Meat's the new cigarette. Bunch of bullshit, right? Oh, check it out. Look, the scientists used to claim that cigarettes were good for you. Oh my goodness, they must be lying now about meat. Because meat is just like cigarettes, right? Very dishonest. And we saw this with Dr. Greger. We saw this with that other guy, Dr. What was that dude's name? Clapper? No. Ornish? No, not Ornish Clapper. The other one. That other doctor guy. The other pencil-necked soy boy. Yeah, I forget his name. Not McDougal. So meat and cigarettes are the same, right? Oh, look at these advertisements for meat back in the day. That's so bad. It's just like advertising cigarettes. And the only reason people eat meat is because it gets advertised to them. So it basically insinuates that anybody who's not plant-based is like an industry shill. Oh, the meat and dairy industry are advertising to us, and that's why we eat meat. We don't eat meat because that's just what we do. We don't eat meat because we need it. We don't eat meat because we would die without animal foods, right? Which is true, right? You see vegan parents starving their child to death on their fruit diet. But they say, oh no, we was frugivores. No, but no, we just eat meat because we're advertised to, and we're told by the meat and dairy industry, which are a total straw man, which I've talked about many times. The meat and dairy industry are owned by the big grain conglomerates, the big plant-based food producers that want to sell you the plant-based slop directly. Right? So they want to cut out the middleman, just like we've been saying here. They say the same thing. Cut out the cow middleman. Ooh, eat the plants directly. Cut out the cow middleman and put Bayer, Monsanto, Archer Daniels, Midlands, Cargill, Unilever, Dow, Syngenta. Put them as the new middleman. Trust them. Trust Big Pharma and Big Ag. And so then they have some false appeals to scientific consensus. They say something along the lines of, well, all the scientists agree that a plant-based diet is superior and supreme. And that if you don't go on a plant-based diet, you're a bigot. Science says. You're not a science denier, are you? Do you hate science? Do you hate children? Do you hate animals? Do you hate the environment? I hope not. Well, you better get that plant-based kibble instead. All right, so they claim meat is bad for the environment. Oh, no, wait, let's see. Here we go. This is the section we're on. So Damian Mander. This is some very nice, he's got like, he's a busty man, isn't he? Damian Mander, the busty anti-poacher. He's got some nice little B cups there. I mean, the vegan diet is definitely doing this guy well. He's sprouting some nice little tetas right there. Is he lactating? You see the little? It's like a little. It's hard to tell. Can't tell if he's lactating. He's definitely got some nice little B cups there. Little handfuls, little grab handles. He claims to be a poacher stopper. He's an anti-poacher in Zimbabwe. All right, so he's a British guy over in Zimbabwe, making sure the naughty poachers don't take all the Prince Charles and Prince Phillips and the Queenies and Jimmy Savile's animals over there in Zimbabwe. He's making sure that Jimmy Savile's BFF, Prince Philip, can have his future in Africa by stopping poachers. All right, so this guy is protecting Simba. He's protecting Bambi from the evil meat eaters. And he said that he was protecting all these animals. He's protecting the poor rhinos. And he just started feeling bad because he was like, man, I'm eating cows still. Oh, those poor cows. Those poor cows. I got to stop eating the cows. and protect the cows, right? So they call him the SEAL Team 6 of conservation. And he says, you know what really sold me? Look what a gorilla eats. Look what a gorilla eats. I got to get the gif of the gorilla eating its poop. But yes, gorillas eat their own shit because they can't digest all the indigestible stuff that they're eating. They actually ingest their own shit. So I'm not sure if Damian Mander has taken that gorilla diet seriously and really going for the true gorilla diet of eating its own poo-poo. Barnard, there you go. Bart K, there you go. Give Bart K a wrench. Where's ad moderator? What's up, Bart K? How's it going, dude? Bart K just got knighted in the Primal Edge Health chat. Use your wrench wisely, Bart. Absolute power comes with responsibility, Bart K. You must wield it nicely. Yeah. I just give you a wrench so people can see your name. You probably won't need to ban anybody. I usually let trolls go for a little while, and then I ban them if they annoy me. All right, so what's a gorilla eat? Oh my goodness, a gorilla eats its own shit. It also eats lots of bugs. It's not a vegan. It also eats other monkeys. Derp level 1000. What's a gorilla eat? Total nonsense. All right, the Narrow Path sends $5. Thank you, man. Says, have you ever considered doing a stream with Bobby's perspective? You guys are both hilarious and will make a memorable stream. By the way, start a bit shoot. Dude, I've done several streams with Bobby, man. Bobby came out on my stream after he did my stream first when he left the vegan movement. My buddy Bobby, a big shout out to Bobby's perspective. We've done several streams, man. Where you been? Eli Hernandez, $2. Tetitas, Tristan. Tetitas pequeñas. Sí. Unas tetas muy bien. Unas tetas con leche. Con mucha leche in Damian Mander. All right. So Damian Mander, with them cute little B cups, says, I'm a big bad anti-poacher, protecting the animals, saving Simba and Bambi one meal at a time. And then they go on to talk about meat and the environment. So the final section of the film is the clincher. Right? The final section of the film is actually the most important. The final section of the film is actually the most subversive as well. So this is what we see in the final section of the film. Final section of the film is about the environmental effects of meat, right? So they go from poaching, save the animals. It's not an overt animal rights documentary, but they weave it in here at the end. They pull on the heartstrings with the anti-poacher. Look at me, I'm going to save Bambi and Simba. And then they start talking about sustainability, land usage, and resource usage, which, as we talked about before, this is Twilight language leading us into willingly giving up our land and our resources to global technocrats at the global banks, at these big think tanks, right? The Royal Institute for International Affairs, the Council on Foreign Relations, Chatham House, which is the Royal Institute for International Affairs, these offshoots of the Royal Society, the Cecil Rhodes groups, which if you want to learn about the history of all these roundtables, the history of the Anglo-American Empire, I suggest reading Quigley's work. He wrote the book is The Anglo-American Establishment, which is shorter, or you could read Tragedy and Hope, which is very long, or you could listen to Jay Dyer's breakdown of those, which he did a very, very long series on Tragedy and Hope. So yeah, check out Jay Dyer's channel if you want to look into some of this. But this is the most subversive and important part of the documentary. And let me just pull up, got some links here to share. So we start out with this gentleman, Rob Bailey. Rob Bailey. Where are you at, Rob Bailey? Rob Bailey, Research Director. Energy, Environment, and Resources at Chatham House. Chatham House is the Royal Institute for International Affairs, Royal Society. basically, this is the group out of the British establishment that was responsible for the promotion of many of the ideologies that a lot of people buy into today. This is a globalist group, internationalist group, all about consolidation of resources on behalf of the British Empire. Right? How very fitting that the British, what do you call him, documentarian or whatever, who made this film, the front man for this film, is British, and Rob Bailey, of course, from the Royal Society, Royal Institute for International Affairs, aka Chatham House, is talking about how it's so bad, we use so much land. Look, 83% of land used for farming is used for animals, and that only produces 18% of the calories. And of course, they don't talk about how that land is rangeland. The land that livestock is being raised on is rangeland. You can't use rangeland for growing crops. They conflate all farmland with land that you can grow crops on. Rangeland is not arable. You can't grow corn, soy, and wheat on rangeland. So, of course, they keep talking about cutting out the middleman. Let's cut out the middleman. And Rob Bailey, this guy right here, Director of Energy, Environment, and Resources at Chatham House till 2019, Oxford guy, responsible for policy on food security, trade, agriculture, and climate change. Right? So the climate crisis narrative coming full circle, and the purveyors of the climate crisis narrative are right here, right in front of our face. So you got Chatham House, you got Rob Bailey from the Chatham House. Climate, food, and land. 5 lessons from the new Arab uprisings. Right, so essentially a global degeneracy spreading group, the Royal Institute for International Affairs, responsible for other offshoot roundtables that you see, such as the Council on Foreign Relations, which is essentially the U.S. wing of the Anglo-American establishment. You can learn about the history of all this by reading The Anglo-American Establishment by Carol Quigley. But if you look at what they're all about, it is, of course, all the same talking points that all the big foundations, all these big global foundations are all about. Gender inequality, empowering women to pay taxes, empowering women to get abortions, empowering men to put the pee-pee in the poo-poo. Right? That's what Chatham House, Royal Institute for International Affairs, people like Prince Philip, people like David Attenborough are all about. That's what they're all about. So, talking about land usage. Oh, let's cut out the middleman. Let's just eat the grains. We'll eat the grains directly. And then we've got Johan Rockström. Johan Rockström, director of the Stockholm Resilience Center. Stockholm Resilience Center, what is that? Well, the Stockholm Resilience Center also involved in pushing for global dietary guidelines. Right, so this guy, wait, wrong one. Oh, yeah, there he is. Rockström, a member of the Eat Lancet Foundation, director of the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research and Stockholm Resilience Center. Again, climate crisis narrative, obviously, all about the consolidation of resources, all about the control of resources, including human resources, which they see you and I as resources, as cattle. As cattle. So he was involved in the Eat Lancet Forum, which of course pushed for global plant-based diet. Right? So they have all these guys that have financial interests in this. The Stockholm Resilience Center, sustainability science for biosphere stewardship. Oh, that sounds so nice, right? Biosphere stewardship. They're going to save the planet. How are they going to save the planet? With sustainable finance. Financial giants can have a pivotal role for climate stability. Financial giants. Of course, a handful of international investors linked to economic activities may influence the stability of some of the world's largest forests, and hence the global climate. Just like Greta says, the big banks are going to save the world. The big banks are going to save the planet. And all of these Eat Lancet Foundation members are going to help us do it. The Stockholm Resilience Center, the Royal Society, and of course, we got Tim Lang, another member of Eat Lancet. Jumps in the film and talks about land usage and resource usage, and meat is so bad and we all just need to eat plants instead because the planet and Greta's future and your emotions, and we're all going to die if we don't eat the babies, if we don't all get abortions and start putting the pee-pee in the poo-poo exclusively. So Professor Tim Lang, food policy. All right, that's what it's about. It's not about health. It's not about giving you better boners. It's about control over resources. It's about control over your resources and control over your land. All right, so then they throw out this picture and they said, check it out. If we all go plant-based, if the whole globe goes plant-based, if the whole world goes plant-based, it's going to be so based. We'll be so based and red-pilled if we go plant-based. Look, we'll be able to green Africa. We'll be able to free up cropland the size of Africa, they say. And the world will flourish, like Sadhguru says. If the insects all die, the planet is destroyed. But if all human beings and all human babies die, the planet will flourish. And so we're going to save the planet. And then we cut back to Esselstyn. All right, so we talk about the resource management. Let's see. Oh, forgot one thing. Then Dean Ornish jumps back in, and he says plant-based diets turn on your good genes and turn off your bad genes. All right, so Dean Ornishananda, Swami Dean Ornishananda, the enlightened sage guru, says plant-based foods turn off bad genes and turn on good genes. So like no backing up of this claim, just a bunch of nonsense. So it's just going to epigenetically optimize you. He didn't even use the word epigenetics because they think their target audience is so fucking dumb. They don't even know what that means. It's too big of a word. Anything more than 2 syllables, far too much for the audience that would be swayed by this nonsense. So, yeah, turns on good genes, turns off bad genes. Major derp moment from Ornish. And then the end of the film is another reminder from Esselstyn. There's the picture. Look, there's a bad artery, clogged artery. That's meat artery. And then good artery. Yay. Bad artery, meat, bad, bald man, bad. Ooh, scary, death, destruction, bigots, racist, xenophobic, homophobic. Oh, good plant-based artery. Clean, happy, so good and happy. Elmo, why you eat plant-based food, guys? Rip Esselstyn's son. Caldwell Esselstyn's son, why you eat plant-based food? Oh, you guys, so Elmo, say put pee-pee in the poo-poo and eat plant-based food. Oh, you guys, good job, kids. You don't want to have bad arteries. Elmo say, that artery from meat eater. Oh, that's so scary, kids. But look, if you don't eat the meat and you eat the Beyond Meat, oh, you have happy artery for Elmo. Yay. It's pee-pee in the poo-poo Elmo. All right, so and then we go full circle back to the military again. Oh, rejoice. The military needs to go plant-based. The military, they're so based and red-pilled that they're going to go plant-based. Back to Fort Bragg, Carolina. And these dudes are training at Fort Bragg. Look, all the tough military guys eat plant-based. How great. How great. Then, let's see. Back to his dad. who had a heart attack before, but now everything's good and happy and so great because he's plant-based, so that he gets to eat with his kids because he's plant-based now. Oh, rejoice, daddy's still alive. Then bloated 4'7" cringe machine, Patrick Baboumian, who looks right here like he's about to puke in his mouth. He says at the end, last line of the movie, "What are you going to do with your strength? And what are you going to do with the power you have?" And of course, with the strength and power Patrick Baboumian has, he is going to eat 3 times as much as a normal, healthy human being should eat and grow big, giant mutton chops to make him look like a big, bloated, wannabe Wolverine. So Patrick Baboubi Man finishes the show by doing an unimpressive lift, which wouldn't even qualify him for the Arnold Classic Strawman competition, yet they claim that he's one of the greatest strongmen in the world. He's the strongest man in the world. He's so based. He's so amazing. Patrick Baboubi Man is the hero of the film. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. All eat plant-based kibble. Save the world. Don't be a bigot. The end. Cue rap music. Cue montage of a bunch of mediocre so-called professional athletes talking about what they eat. And what do they say they eat? Plant-based burgers and plant-based meatballs and plant-based tacos. Rejoice. The world is safe from the evil bigot meat eaters. Patrick Baboubi Man has done an unimpressive by true strongman standards lift and end scene and film. Show mutton chops one more time, and we can all rejoice that the plant-based movement is the savior of humanity. So there it is, guys. That's it. That was the end of the film. That's everything that happened in the movie. Welcome to PrimalEdgeHealth.com, where we watch the game changers so you don't have to. Like Dr. Gregor. Yeah. So what do you think, guys? Rom says, I think Danny DeVito is a better Wolverine. It's like there you go. That's it. Patrick Baboubi Man is Danny DeVito trying to get casted as Wolverine. That's Patrick Baboubi Man. So, I mean, as far as like the film, like as an actual movie, it's very boring, right? Like the production level is kind of high on some stuff. Like they use some drone footage, and they're, in the intro, this guy's running up the stairs, and there's a drone. It's like, oh, it's all smooth, and there's like really awesome infographics and the music and everything. But it comes off as pretty corny, right? There was not a single thing that was actually impressive or honest in the entire movie. I mean, it's conspiracy level dumb. But hey, this will convince a lot of dummies to do it. This will convince a lot of dummies to go vegan. This might convince quite a few people. And it actually has. So, what else? We got a bunch of... All right, here. Let's put that there. So, there are a lot of people who have been duped into going vegan. Now, we've talked about Cam Newton. We all know about Cam Newton. Of course, Cam Newton is about to get traded. No one wants damn Cam Newton on their team anymore because he's been chronically injured since going vegan. He also decides to dress like a Russian woman now that he's vegan. So when he was vegan, he also said he went celibate for months. Right? So Cam Newton says he went celibate for months. And so he lost his sex drive on a vegan diet. How surprising. How many of these vegans on YouTube have we seen lose their sex drive? How many of these vegans have we seen on YouTube that as soon as they eat animal foods again, their ding-a-ling wakes up? Right? Tim Sheaf had salmon and that night had a wet dream. Right? Who else? Raw alignment. Elise, no sex drive on a vegan diet. Started eating animal foods again. Hormones started correcting. Sex drive came back. Right? So many women that lose their fertility on a vegan diet. So many men that lose their hormonal balance on a vegan diet. So many men that lose their fertility on a vegan diet. And then as soon as they eat animal foods, it comes back. Right? Of course, they're selling you the opposite on this shit. Right? The Game Changers is selling you the complete opposite. Right? Go limp for the animals. Exactly. You guys want to see what the Game Changers is all about, what vegan activism is all about. It's all about going limp for the animals. Right? Like that vegan couple in their brave and stunning vegan activism, where they go into a market where people sell meat and go limp to save the animals. Right? We got lots of people going limp for the animals, and lots of people getting their health back by eating animal foods, which is great. I love seeing people get their health back. I'm so stoked to work with so many people who get their health back. Right? I can't tell you how many clients we've had who've come from nutrient-deficient vegan diets and gotten their fertility and health back after incorporating animal foods again. Right? But, you know, a lot of people get duped by this stuff. A lot of people get sucked into it. And it's a shame. It is a shame. We've got to find this. Where is it? Ah! Where is it? Here. I'll just switch this to... There it is. All right, it's a shame. A lot of people get duped. All right. So we got this lady, Camille Perriat. She's like a fitness competitor. All right, let's check out her fitness competition stuff. 3 times Olympian, 6 times bikini pro champion. So she competes in the sanctioned eating disorder pageants. She's a professional poser. You call these people? They pose professionally. So fitness competitions, obviously I'm not a fan, but this is what happened when she went vegan.
So I just did my DEXA scan this month. I do it every month. And this month I did an experiment. Okay, I watched that documentary like many other people, Game Changers. And you know what? I decided to go vegan. So I've been vegan for this past month. Well, I had whey and eggs. So not completely vegan, but I was tracking my macros, making sure that I was close to what I normally eat. Balancing everything out, and I was eating really clean, and I wanted to test my results after a month of doing this style diet, and I have the results. So my body fat increased by about 2.5%. When I did my last scan last month, I was at 14.5% body fat. I'm at 16.9% body fat today. Now this part here was kind of depressing for me because I actually lost quite a bit of muscle as well. Last month, my lean tissue was at 100.2 pounds, and today I was at 96.4 pounds. I've lost about 4 pounds of muscle. What does that tell me? Well, that I've lost lean mass and my body fat has gone up. Now, I really enjoyed being vegan. I liked how I felt. I liked not eating meat, and I really enjoyed it. So I was really kind of hoping for a different outcome, but I was kind of expecting this just from how I was feeling. So what this is telling me is that I'm in no place to be in this style diet right now for myself, because this is a critical time for me to be keeping size on and putting on size. And it's jeopardized a little bit of my gains. So all those who are watching Game Changers and making lifestyle changes, I know there's a lot of talk about this documentary, and I was one of them, and I wanted to experiment and test it out myself, and those were my personal results. I did the DEXA scan the same exact time of day each time, had the same amount of food and water intake. My weight actually went down a pound, but my body fat increased and my lean mass decreased. So that's my own personal results, guys. Not saying that there's any right or wrong way, but I know for my body type, this was not the best decision for me to do long-term, especially moving into a prep soon, hopefully for the Arnolds, fingers crossed if I get accepted or not. But that's my results, and You guys should try it. DEXA scans are amazing. It doesn't lie. The most accurate body composition test you can do. So yeah, that's my results.
All right. Well, she was never really vegan and she did it wrong. So that's it. We all know she was never really vegan because she said she cheated and she had some eggs and some whey. So she was never really vegan and she did it wrong. So let's check out the comments. OMG, I watched that last night. LOL, haha, we changed our HelloFresh meals to vegetarian. So Name a Fit changed her ordered out meal to vegetarian after watching the Game Changers on Netflix, right? So all these, like, you see how flippant people are with this stuff? Like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, I'll try it. Lots of people are going to do this after watching this film. Thank you for sharing. I get lots of questions about this and respect you in this sport. So your personal testimony is highly valued. That's cool. All right, here we go. Here's another good comment. Thanks for sharing. Your information is fascinating. I come from a yoga background where it's very common not to eat animal products. Right, the Eastern mysticism, the yoga, all this stuff ties in with veganism, which is a religion. It is an ideology based on monism, based on the belief that we're all one, bro. We're just the same as animals, dude. I'm the same as a rat. The RZA said in that PETA ad, we are all the same, yo. We are all the same. It doesn't matter. Rats, crickets, my bitches, they are all the same, yo. Bong bong, RZA, zigzag, zigalog, go vegan, yo. Thanks for sharing. Your information is fascinating. I come from a yoga background where it's very common to not eat animal products. Over time, my muscle mass and bone mass have continued to diminish. Although I added in weightlifting 4 times a week in addition to yoga. Quite simply, my diet was insufficient to build muscle, and maintain my bone mass. I could no longer continue being vegetarian vegan after 33 years, 25 years vegetarian and 8 years raw vegan. Oh, well, there you go, guys. She's raw vegan. She did it wrong. Let's see if there's comments from vegans attacking her now, right? I'm sure. Oh, she was raw vegan. She did it wrong, man. They all did it wrong. 84% of vegans and vegetarians within 3 years will go back to eating meat. They all did it wrong, I guess. Okay. So my ferritin became dangerously low, right? So in this film, in the Game Changers, they tried to say that heme iron is so bad. Right? Like 25% of the population of the world is deficient in iron, is anemic, right? But they're saying, oh, heme iron's bad. It's so bad. Bioavailable iron is bad. When all these women are freaking anemic. Nuts. So her ferritin became dangerously low, used iron supplements for 2 years after my diagnosis. Mixed results because my iron was still suboptimal. I'm hoping my next DEXA scan shows improvement because I've been working very hard. Oh, and please don't tell me I wasn't doing the diet correctly, as several have been told on this page. Of course, they're a broken record. Veganism is a broken record. Sometimes it takes years for health problems to manifest. So, let's see. Thanks for sharing. I don't mind sharing my personal experiences. Animal protein does not seem to have a thermodynamic effect on... Okay. Okay, let's see. There are people who compete in the strongman competition who don't lose muscle on a vegan diet. It's your fault you lost muscle. I gained muscle and lost fat on a vegan diet. You didn't even do it properly either. Whey and eggs aren't vegan at all and are both very unhealthy things to eat. Thanks for spreading false information. Says ionized Kangen water. This fucking douche. Buy my water machine. Buy my Kangen water. This medical equipment lasts 40 plus years. Buy my dumbass Kangen water machine. You did it wrong. Running you did it wrong.exe. All the vegan NPCs. Alright. Where'd it go? So there it is, guys. Camille lost bone mineral density, lost muscle mass. I was so curious after watching that Netflix show as well. Happy to see you thought of it. I tried going vegan for a few months. After a while, I felt very weak, and once I added meat back, I felt a lot better. Says everybody who tried a vegan diet ever. I think it's important to have a well-balanced diet. Fruits, plants, animals all play an important part in building a healthy body. Well, Everybody who goes vegan experiences the same thing. They feel like shit. They eat meat again. They feel better. So you went backwards? Why stay a vegan? Your proof is in your hand. I don't get that one. Okay, I am astonished how you can use this skewed data to make claims on a vegan diet while you ate egg whites and whey. So the egg whites and whey are why she lost muscle and bone, right? Yeah. Yeah. Sure, I had a few servings of egg whites and a few whey shakes. That's all she had. But of course, she did it wrong. She did it wrong. Okay. So the vegan hater brigade. Always got to say you did it wrong. Let me come over here in the chat. What's up, guys? Let's see if there's any stupid chats in here. Garland Farms, what's up, dude? How you doing, Garland Farms? How's the farm? How are them cows? How are them cattle doing? Oh, yeah, Garland Farms. Well, check your email, Garland Farms. Jessica emailed you. First time veganism rolled around, they called it Jonestown, says Garland Farms. Yeah, isn't it funny how all these cults use veganism? Right? All of these gurus, all these Eastern, the Hindu gurus, they all use veganism on their flocks. They all use veganism on their Western bitches. Because when you get the Western bitches on the vegan diet, it makes them much more vulnerable, and they will open up their third eye so you can put your 11th finger in it. Okay. Let's see. All right. Yeah, Nature Boy, another one that uses veganism in his cult. We haven't checked up on Nature Boy in a long time. We might have to do a Nature Boy check-in. The problem with Nature Boy is he has hours and hours and hours of content constantly. So, yeah, it's hard to keep up with Nature Boy and all his charades. What's up, dude? Chamasp? Butchered your name. $1.99 super chat says, went vegan for a month and I grew a pair of baboomians. That's cool, man. You know, sometimes you gotta take one for the team. You gotta take one for the animals and grow some babooby mans. Alright, you know what else we got though? Who cares what I think about the Game Changers? Who gives a shit what some dummy, what some dumbass guy named Tristan has to say about the Game Changers? We have the greatest vegan of all time, His Holiness, the Dalai Gregor, here to give us his take on the vegan pea protein isolate advertisement, the 90-minute pea protein advertisement called the Game Changers. Let's hear what Dr. Michael Greger, coming at you live from his treadmill, has to say about the vegan diet, where you can stop yourself from getting heart disease, cancers, by eating all the Daily Dozen foods, like Slippies, Chippies, and lentils.
Tell me you've seen the movie.
I saw it. I saw a screener this week.
Okay.
Yeah, because James Wilkes was going to be here, and so yeah, I saw it.
As far as I'm concerned, it is the single best piece of film ever put out by the plant-based movement. I mean, so basically, I mean, there's lots of resources
more so than
out
What
there.
The Health and
There's
Cowspiracy.
so that all has the information. Or Forks Over Knives has the information, has the stories, the amazing life-changing stories. But what was lacking was that polished Hollywood production value, right? Take that amazing, all the science, the amazing stories, and then, put it in like and have the enough money to really make it a real
just put it, take all the money,
I mean, not to put any of those others down, but people love those documentaries, not because they're great documentaries, but because of the information. But imagine if you had the information plus a really slick, well-produced, it's like the best of both worlds.
It's like the best. When I watched the movie, I couldn't stop gesticulating wildly and unnecessarily with my hands. I learned this from Frank Tufano, how to use my hands in an unnecessarily exaggerated way, so it seems like I'm human when I talk, and looks like I actually know what I'm talking about because I wave my hands everywhere.
So you're dealing with
Amazing.
someone's kind of base level of brain, so they can just see the pictures and say, okay, I'm going to go to this.
Gorgeous.
And so
Oh
how were you involved as
Oh my
scientific
God.
advisor?
Yeah. Well, so I originally I was just called to be part of the film.
I recently. I don't think he can get through a whole sentence without mispronouncing a word. I don't think it's possible. Let's hear how many words he mispronounces going back. Just 4 seconds. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, so I originally
I originally. You got your tongue tied up there, Dr. Gregor? You got your tongue tied up, Mr. Gregor? Mr. Dr. Gregor?
I was just called to be part of the film. I mean, she was being interviewed for the film, and I remember being with James Wilk, who's like in some little like seedy hotel with him, like the little camcorder on a tripod somewhere. And there was like highway noise outside, whatever. But we were trying to get something. This is when he was just like shoestring budget, blah blah blah.
Years and years ago.
Years and years ago. So we did a couple hours, and then he comes back. He comes back to me. I haven't heard from him in a while. He comes back. He says, wow, now we finally got some funding for the thing. We need to reshoot all the footage. I feel bad that we went through it, but but I really want to get you in the film.
Yeah.
So we go back, we do the whole thing again, right? Research hours of but we get it all down. Okay. Then I know it's like another year goes by. Then it comes, okay, now we really have money. Then we got these fancy high-def cameras. We got,
James Cameron,
yes.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay. So we did it again. We do the whole other thing, a whole nother afternoon of film, and go through with the entire crew now and all the lighting, and then I get cut completely from the film. No, but
they shot him how many times that he got cut from the film still? Why do you think they cut Gregor? Why do you guys think they cut Gregor? You think Gregor maybe didn't fit in with the with the aesthetic of going for healthy athletic people? You think maybe the producers decided that Dr. Gregor, his very presence would perhaps discredit the film? Perhaps. I do not know, but perhaps. We got another super chat from Rom with a beautiful avatar of a beautiful baby. I hope that's your baby. She's out there, he or she, out there eating meat and making families, just like the shirt says. Check it out. Got the Eat Meat Make Families hoodie. You guys can get that at primaledgehealth.com. Thanks for the super chat, Ron. Since $10 says, thanks for all your hard work, brother. Many blessings to you and your beautiful family. Always keep you and other truth speakers in my prayers. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Much appreciated. Much obliged. Okay. Well, let's go back to Dr. Gregor coming at you live from my treadmill. Unnecessary gesticulator. The master gesticulator. Dr. Michael Gregor.
I am 100% in favor. I mean, I wouldn't replace a frame of that movie with me or anybody else. I mean, it was just done perfectly. But
I would have rather seen you in there.
Oh well, but
no,
but the role that I was able to play is just to go through and make sure all the science is set.
Okay.
And so, I mean, that was very important to me.
I mean, so they had Dr. Gregor allegedly was their science czar. He was the Dr. Gregor was the Game Changers science czar who made sure that all the science was perfect. All the science was great. All the science like bigger vegan boners, like look what gorillas eat, like look at the fat in your blood. He made sure that all the science behind all the parlor tricks that they pulled, they made sure that it was all good. I didn't see his name in the credits, but pretty funny that he's saying this, that he was there just to make sure that all the science is good. Remember, Dr. Gregor is one of the most dishonest cherry pickers out there. One of the most dishonest cherry pickers out there. What's up with the chat? You guys are off topic. We're talking Dr. Gregor here. We're not talking other degenerate vegan YouTubers. We're talking Dr. Gregor. Come on, guys. Stay on track. Got people spamming for other vegan YouTube activists in the chat right now. We're just talking about this vegan degenerate, Dr. Greger, not other vegan degenerates. Let's go.
Because what so often happens is if there's one little tidbit of the movie that is in the slightest bit misleading, they'll take that and baby out with the bathwater. I mean, that's all they need is one thing to attack. And so my constant refrain was, we want to take, so if you have like 5 statistic, for example, on how much water does a pound of beef cost, make to make. And you could get like the USDA number, you could get like the environmental Greenpeace number, or the industry has their way skewed in the other direction. What statistics should we take? Well, we take the industry. We go bend over backwards to take the most conservative possible statistics, because then we are just untouchable, right? The science is so strong. I mean, by taking the weaker statistic or the biased statistic, you're almost saying like, yeah, the evidence is so weak, we have to exaggerate. No, it's so strong, we can under-exaggerate. We can go the opposite direction and still just have this overwhelming. So, I mean, that was my constant push. Let's just absolutely use the most conservative, and just trying to keep it, and everything cited to the teeth. I mean, that was just super important to me, because I knew how, as the movie evolved, I knew what an important tool it was going to be, and I did not want it to be dismissed over some, some carelessness.
Okay. Have you been hanging out with James Cameron?
Some carelessness, like all of the stats they use in the film, like all of the points they use in the film, which are completely dishonest. Oh man, it's funny. So he's taking credit for being the fact checker. It kind of seems like the Game Changers, they basically gave Dr. Greger like a fake job. Right? Like they told him, they're like, yeah, Dr. Greger, you can't be in the film. We're gonna film you twice, but we still can't make you look not like Gollum, and we're gonna have to cut you out. But you're gonna be our fact checker, man. So here, we'll send you the film. You just make sure all like the science and stuff is good. You shoot us an email and tell. It's like when your kids are you're trying to like fix something, like you're working on a motor or something, and your daughter wants to help, and you're like, yeah, like here, hold this screwdriver for me, right? or take this screwdriver and go draw circles in the sand, Dr. Greger.
My God, no, but I've talked to Susie, his wife.
And they're really big into plant-based meat.
Oh, super sweet folks. Yeah.
And it's
really from a more of an environmental standpoint. I'm seeing that a lot on college campuses these days.
Okay.
Is people are telling me they're going for the environment. Like that's totally new to me.
Very plant-based for the environment. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
plant-based for the environment.
Yeah. Look, I saw the movie. It was very beautiful. Yeah. The only problem I had is I felt that sometimes they were rolling out these beautiful athletes and showing them on screen when I didn't think they necessarily represented the top athletes in the world. That's what I mean.
We got a bigot here. We got a bigot hate speeching the vegans here. Put him in line, Dr. Greger. Put this denier, this science denier, back in his place. Know your place, bigot. Eat the kibble.
Strongmen on there, but he's not one of the world's strongest men. And there were some Olympic athletes on there, but they weren't the top athletes. And so for me, I was like, okay, you can find some correlation, but I don't see the causation. That's what I didn't like. And I thought some of the science stuff was a little gimmicky, and the erection stuff, I thought it was a little gimmicky.
Oh my God, that was awesome. That was totally my idea. That was my idea to do that.
That makes sense.
Oh my God, that was brilliant. Okay, so
that makes sense. That stupid ass shit was your idea. That makes sense, Dr. Greger. What they don't tell you is Dr. Greger's hand was the machine that measured the girth.
All you need to do, I mean, the current culture as now is you need meat for protein. How could you possibly build muscle without? So to counter the culture, all you need is a single example of one person anywhere building any amount of muscle, and then you can't build muscle without meat. Is right. I mean, that's what you need.
That didn't make any sense. What he just said. That made no sense.
So far on one end,
I guess so.
All you have to do is like, wait a second, can you have any endurance? Can you have any strength? That's all we need to do, and I think it showed it beautifully.
Appeal to the lowest common denominator.
Look at Brian Rose. Brian Rose gets it. He thought it was corny as shit. This dude did a triathlon as a vegan, felt like shit, He knows what's up.
But that's have you been out on the streets?
Yeah, maybe
Are
you're
these
right.
people in life? I mean,
I live in London. That's my problem.
I mean, no, but look, I talk to people on flights all the time. You know, I'm stuck on a 7-hour flight. You know, and I strike up a conversation. It's like people are clueless. I mean,
see how dumb he thinks you are. He's letting the cat out of the bag. Dr. McGregor, I give speeches all the time in front of packed rooms. People are clueless. They think I'm a health expert. They think I'm a doctor. I've never seen a patient. They're clueless.
just these real, I mean, just they don't know anything about nutrition, and that's the way the industry likes it. Wants people confused, so they throw up their hands and eat whatever's put in front of them. That's
so there you go, Dr. McGregor telling you exactly what he's doing, exactly where he wants you.
The way the system is set up. So I mean, that's all we need. That's all this movie had to show. You could do it.
Right.
Right? It is possible to not drop over dead by not eating these foods.
You will not drop over dead yet if you eat these foods.
And then, you know that Erection study, which I will take full credit for.
My gosh,
no, it's actually being done now in a real setting, and it didn't purport that there was some. But just to show how dramatic one meal.
Just to show, let's do the experiment right now on you, Brian Rose. I'll give you a bean burrito and measure your weighing.
Right, that's wild. Come on, and it shows to the arterial function. Right, it's not that they're clearing out their plaque, but just shows your arteries function
and it plays
better.
to the lowest common denominator of someone's manhood.
What does
Come on, Michael, you're better than that.
What do men care about? Right? No, especially young men. Look, when I go speak at a high school, right? Yeah. Breast cancer is going to go over their head. I'm going to talk about stroke, dying of a heart disease. That's what grandparents like. Okay, so I talk about athletic performance. I talk about acne. I talk about, talk about things that...
Erections. You talk about a lot of things, Dr. Greger, in a very manically weird way, right? Always with this desperate, crazy, fake energy, dude. How much more of Dr. Greger can you guys handle? It's kind of funny, but it's also just kind of pathetic. And there's somebody in the chat. There's a guy in the chat who was in the intro video. All right, one of Dr. Greger's Soyum is in the chat right now defending him. The dude from the Wakanda Fit is in the chat, man. Hey, when you're ready to get your health back, dude, we'll be here for you. Until then, we're gonna keep making fun of Dr. Greger, the manic gesticulating golem, soy demon. We're gonna continue making fun of him because he's fucking hilarious.
Talk about erections. That's what young men care about. Right?
All right, I get it.
The young men care about erections. That's what they want to hear about. They want to hear old man. Young men want to hear boomers talking about erections.
I get it. Look, whatever you got to do it. I get it. That's fine. The blood and the plasma's cloudy. I was just like, my scientific mind was like, all right, one looks cloudy, doesn't look cloudy.
Your blood is up.
There you go. So he calls him out. Let's see how Greger stomps all over it. Let's see how Greger sputters, mutters, and mumbles. He mumble yells. That's what Dr. Greger does. Let's see how Dr. Greger mumble yells his way out of this one.
Milkshake after eating
Where's
a
the science,
cheeseburger.
Though? I'm looking at it, so I got these unscientific guys that say it looks cloudy. I mean, does that
But
mean...
it is. There's actually something called lactescence.
Okay.
And so that's the cloudiness or the milkiness of your serum.
Okay.
That's what happens after you eat a meal. That's how much fat.
Like we talked about earlier, completely refuted, so easily refuted because it's nonsense. There is a postprandial spike in serum fat levels, right? Fat goes up after you eat a high-fat meal. You eat fat goes up. Right? You eat a meal that has no fat in it, your blood fat's not going to go up. It's an energy source. It's an energy source.
Is in your and the consequences of that fat are the insulin resistance and arterial crippling and all these downturn. So we're just trying, but otherwise it's numbers on a screen. It's numbers in a graph, right? How can we take numbers in a graph and actually make some kind of visual impact of it? That was the.
I get it, but I would
And
say
you can do it yourself.
But there were no.
Spin down your blood after a cheeseburger,
Okay, maybe
and you're like,
I'll
what?
look at it. Yeah, I mean, okay, whatever. All right, but also, I mean, there weren't that many top athletes in there. There's not the top of their games. There were just a few select choices.
Well, maybe.
You took a runner that looked good.
Maybe
God
they
bless her.
should
You look a
try-
strong man who's
maybe
not at the top
they
of the
should
strongman game.
Maybe these athletes.
Maybe, but you know what I'm saying.
Seeing this would.
You took one mixed martial arts fight between a vegan and a meat eater, and he happened to lose.
Maybe if the so all we need to do open up their mind and have people try it, and then so why are people?
And then they'll realize how it doesn't work, and then they'll realize that it is nonsense, and then they'll realize that a vegan diet is completely deficient in bioavailable nutrients, and you feel like shit on a vegan diet. Yeah. And to all the little Fwanky the Banana girls, all the little Fwanky the Banana girl fans in the chat, yeah, I will ban you for spamming Fwanky in here. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want you here, and I don't care about your damn comments. Right? Peace. Peace out. Anybody else? Anybody else want to step up and talk some shit? This guy, woke N-word, he's banned too. Bunch of dummies. All right, so Dr. Gregor, Dr. Michael Gregor, coming at you live from London Hill.
Eating the way they are. They're eating the way they are because they were taught this is what you eat to be strong. This is what you eat to be fast. This is what you eat for endurance, right?
Yeah.
And so just to open their mind, say, wait a second, you can eat this, and still be at the top of your game. Well, maybe I'll give it a try. And
Okay.
so,
in that sense, cool.
Yeah.
I get it. Thank you
Yeah.
for explaining it to
Yeah,
me because I was having a few issues, and I respect you a lot, and I respect what you guys are doing. And look, I went.
That's a way when you say I respect you a lot. That's a way of him saying I'm fucking sick of hearing your nonsense. I respect you, Dr. Gregor. I'll stop making you look like an idiot because I respect you. So, yeah.
Plant-based for a year. I ran a goddamn Ironman triathlon plant-based. So like maybe you're preaching to the choir a little bit, and I was looking for something else. So I get why you're doing it. A lot of great minds, and it's good to have that question in people's minds. So I'll give you that. I'll give you the pass. I know it's going to blow up on Netflix. I know it's already blowing up on iTunes.
It's going to go crazy.
So congrats. I would rather see you in that movie.
Oh my God! Well,
Those other
maybe I'll be in some
doctors they wheeled out.
DVD extra or something. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, that'd be good. Can I tell you about my plan?
Extra or something. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, that'd be.
There's a screenshot right there. Dr. Gregor. He's a legend. I love how these vegans help us to discredit their movement, right? I love how these vegans help us do what we do by discrediting veganism for us. It's really great. Harry Serpano says Australian $10. Says Tristan, keep exposing this charlatan. They compared a vegan burger to a sad burger. Both bad. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, the vegan burger is better than a standard American diet burger. Complete nonsense, right? Complete gobbledygook nonsense. You know, I mean, it's amazing how many people these ghoulish ideologues can actually dupe into thinking that they're experts, right? These internet LARPers, these vegan activists, these golem-esque vasectomites, and undercover vegan activists. It's amazing how many people these degenerates can dupe into worshiping them, can dupe into thinking that they're an authority, can dupe into thinking that they are legitimate people. It is amazing. Carnivore Marathon Bear, what's up, dude? How's it going, man? Carnivore Marathon Bear, $4.99. Thanks for the super chat, my friend. Sends a shaka. Shaka, bro. Shaka mahala, dude. Chakra mahala. Shaka mahala. Thanks for the stickers are funny. So Jay sent a bear drinking coffee sticker the other day too. Thanks for the stickers. All right, guys. You guys got any questions? Feel free to send the super chats. What else do we have to talk about here? What else do we have going on? We're gonna be doing our We're going to be opening up the member section of the website really soon. The private Discord is going to be opening up soon. Nathan Coleman's laughing. He's like, LOL, bans anyone from mentioning him, then plays GIFs of him on stream. LOL, savage. No, I don't ban people for mentioning him. I ban people for promoting it, right? I ban people for shitting on me too. Like that guy, woke N-word. He got banned for talking a bunch of shit. Right? And yes, I just love that GIF. It's one of the funniest GIFs ever. One of the funniest GIFs. And no, obviously... All right, anyways. All right, guys. These ideologues can dupe people, but they can't dupe reality. I have hope a lot of these vegans eating kibble will go back to eating real human foods. That's what's up. They do. These people go back to eating real human foods. Right? They go back to eating real animal foods. Many of them not soon enough, unfortunately. Many of them not soon enough. How old is Dr. Gregor? Dr. Gregor is younger than Bart K. Much younger than Bart K. I think. Bart, if you're in the chat. Okay, 47. Okay says 47. Okay is always in the chat. Okay is always running the chat, keeping it on point too. Love it. Okay, the only reason that you don't have a wrench, is because you comment so much, and dude, don't take this wrong. I love that you comment so much. If I give you a wrench, the wrench will be there so much. So it's like you're my undercover up in the chat, who's always keeping the chat on point. Okay, much appreciated. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you in the chat there. You're always here in almost every single chat, keeping people on point. And even when these when the crazies come in, when the veganegelicals come in, you're so nice to them and you really direct people in a really good way. So I really appreciate you in there. All right, if you guys got any questions, you can send some super chats. We can do some super chat Q&A. Let's see, what else we got to talk about here. We've got all sorts of stuff pulled up here. I can close this whole window. Close that whole window. All right, we've got a lot of news happening the last couple of days, the last few weeks. A lot of this stuff is probably going to be better to hit on later. Dog heart disease linked to grain-based foods. All right, here's an interesting one. We did talk about this a little bit earlier. Certain types of grain-free food seem to be involved in heart disease in dogs, says the FDA. A lot of these grain-free foods contain, guess what? Pea protein. A lot of these contain multiple legumes like peas, lentils, other pulses, seeds of legumes, and their protein, starch, and fiber derivatives, indicating that they are the main ingredients. So a lot of these diets are really, really messing up dogs, really messing up their health. Believe it or not, dogs are not meant to be on a vegan diet. Amazing, right? Cats should not be on a vegan diet. Human beings should also not be on a vegan diet. All right. We got a super chat here. What's up, Carnivore Marathon Bear? What up, dude? You're the same one who's on Instagram too, right? You have an Instagram profile, Carnivore Marathon Bear. Do you do marathons? I cannot relate. I can't relate. All right. Name Saint Joanna. Got my age wrong. 32. 32. It's okay. The beard makes me look so old. And the lack of veganism makes me look so old. I look 60, but I'm really 32. Carnivore Marathon Bear says, is Frank Tufano really actually a vegan? I just got here. Is Frank Tufano actually a vegan? I don't really know. I don't watch a lot of these vegan channels. Like, I've seen some of his vegan workout videos. His workouts seem vegan. Champ says ban him. No. I banned that one guy earlier because he was talking some shit on me. All right, these people come in and insult me. So yeah, I'm not sure if Fwanky the Banana Girl is actually vegan. I don't know. That's what I thought. People have always said that he's a vegan activist, like undercover vegan activist doing like. That's what I thought. He said he's an actor, right? Like he started out his career getting plastic surgery so that he could be an actor. because he's such a great actor, as you could see in his fake crying at the end of one of his recent videos. But is he really a vegan? That's what I've heard. I heard he was an undercover vegan activist. I thought he was like a really good actor doing like a next level comedy routine, like like Andy Kaufman style, deep cover. He even got facial reconstructive surgery to make him look like that, so that he could do this. I don't know. That's what I thought. So yeah, thank you for the super chat and the question. Carnivore Marathon Bear sends another $1.99. He says, I do run marathons, meat powered. That's cool, man. All meat on the marathons. That's awesome. But yeah, you got to ask Fwanky Girl if he's vegan. But I mean, the workouts that I saw that he did, those were vegans, and then the fake crying and stuff. From what I've heard, the word on the street is that he's like deep cover, next level comedian. Like he's fucking hilarious, right? He's so funny. He's like Andy Kaufman, where he'll do a bit for like a year. He'll do a bit for an entire year in character, where there's no punchlines, where it's not even funny, where it's just disturbing and creepy and really, really pathetic. And he'll just keep doing that bit for a long time. I think he's just next level comedian. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. You'll have to ask him. But Dr. Gregor is vegan. We know that. We know Dr. Gregor is vegan. All right. Fake crying. Yeah. All right, what else is going on? What else is up in the chat? Look, we like to have fun here, guys. We have fun on these streams, don't we?
We have fun. Degenerate Elmo says you should all go vegan, and you should also give your dogs heart disease, because there are too many dogs and too many people. We all need to go vegan and get vasectomies, because Elmo say so. Elmo love you. Elmo teach you how to be vegan.
All right. Maybe Dr. Gregor is a comedian too. Jacqueline, dude, I'm beginning to think that Dr. Gregor is. He's deep cover carnivore. Dr. Gregor is deep cover carnivore, and he gets like injections of chemotherapy drugs to make himself look like an emaciated vegan, just so that he can discredit it for us. And he's on my payroll. I'm actually paying Dr. Gregor. I'm actually Dr. Gregor. That's the thing. It's deep fake. Dr. Gregor is just pure deep fake. Like he's too funny to actually exist. Dr. Gregor is next level. Brendan says he's a Corollian demon summoned by the elites. Yeah, Dr. Gregor is Iwaz, the Corolli demon. Dr. Gregor is the spirit of the age. What else? What else, guys? Yeah. Oh. You get to go on timeout. You get to go on timeout and sit and think about how what you just said is so freaking stupid. You go sit there in the corner with your dunce hat and you think about how dumb what you just said is. You know who you are. You just got timed out. Can't even spell sure right. All right. Again, what does my picture on your thumbnail have to do with this live? Who's this? Oh, is this Wakanda Fit? Watch the beginning of the thing. Watch the beginning of it. We used some clips of you in the mashup in the beginning, Indigo's Journey, when you guys were watching the Game Changers, and then like good little consumer automatons, you were eating your Beyond Meat Taco Bell meal to get your performance boost. Yeah, you guys need to get well. I'm sorry you guys are suffering so much from that veganism. It's really sad. But when you're ready to get your health back, when you're ready to get your life back, we're here for you. We're not going to tell you did it wrong. We're not going to tell you were never really vegan. How long have you guys been vegan, by the way? How long have you been vegan? And if you could come on. You can come on for a stream sometime if you want to, Indigo's journey. If you want to come share about your journey, about your vegan journey, and about why you think it's better, why you think it's good, come on. Maybe send me an email, Tristan, Tristan, at primaledgehealth.com. You can come on. All right, Ellie Goodgal, what's up? Ellie Goodgal since $4.99 says, hi, Tristan. On a serious note, if you were to take an educated guess, why do you think the bean guys had better erections than the meat guys, if true? All right. So they if you look at the machine, and I had a screenshot, but on the other, it didn't get saved. So if you look at the scene where they wire up the guys with the machine, it wasn't actually Dr. Greger's hand that measured the hardness of the erections. It was like this little machine that they taped it to their leg, and then there's two rings that go around their wiener, and those rings around their wiener would measure the erection, the size of the erection, and this and that. The first night was the night that they had the meat one, and they have this huge uncomfortable machine on, so maybe that had something to do with it, right? The inability to actually sleep when they were wearing that big machine. That's probably got something to do with it. I would suspect that. Either that or, I mean, that's what makes the most sense, right? Eating a bean burrito with no meat obviously is not going to give you better and more boners. Right? And if you look at all these testimonials from people who have done vegan diets long term, what do you see is common, right? Bone mineral density loss, muscle loss, extreme wasting physically, right? Also mental deterioration, but infertility, major side effect of this too. So you see a lot of infertility. You see a lot of that happen. Yeah. So someone's asking if I'm strict carnivore. No. So I go on and off on strict carnivore. We're not here promoting any dietary dogma, right? We're here showing people how you can eat. And there are many different ways that you can eat to optimize your situation. Your optimal diet might not look like my optimal diet. My optimal diet right now doesn't look like my optimal diet under different circumstances, like 6 months ago, right? So if I'm using carbohydrates, or if I want to use carbohydrates rather, I will use them, right? So I did a ketogenic diet for 6 years, right? Strict ketogenic diet for 6 years. Now that doesn't mean I was never out of ketosis throughout the entire time. I experimented with carbohydrates here and there, did a ketogenic diet since 2013, and it was pretty enjoyable. Right? Did a carnivore diet, full-on carnivore, for about 2 years. Started messing around with a little milk, started adding foods here and there, just kind of dabbling different things. So these are tools, right? These dietary pathways are tools, right? The carnivorous approach, a full-on carnivore diet where it's just meat, that is a tool. Is it the optimal tool under all circumstances for all people? Absolutely not, right? So just like fasting is a tool, fasting all the time under all circumstances is not a very good thing to do, right? Which is what veganism is. Veganism is long-term fasting, right? The only essential foods, the only real essential foods are animal foods. And on a vegan diet, you're removing those completely for long periods of time. So yeah. Let's see. There's a bunch of people in the chat. It's hard to keep up. Okay's always doing a good job with the we got a theology debate going on. All right. Guys, with the theology debates, maybe it's better to do it at a different time, right? Let's leave it at that. Nathan says, I really appreciate your nuance, Tristan. Yeah, it's about nuance. It's all about what works for you and your context under your circumstances. So there are certain circumstances where I'm not going to use a strict carnivorous diet. Right? When I'm trying to gain weight, carnivore can be good, and I have gained weight on carnivore. And I gained a significant amount of weight on carnivore. Intentionally, right? Not fat. Muscle, and some fat, of course. When you're putting on muscle, you're going to put on a little bit of fat. But I did gain a lot of weight on carnivore modified, right? Like a more carnivore approach using carnivore carbs, like raw milk. And I actually got up to 100. The highest I was on a carnivore was about 165. Got to like 167 carnivore with milk. But what happens with me is I like to play football, soccer. You call it football everywhere else in the world other than America. Most people are probably in the U.S. I play soccer. I live in Ecuador, and it's really cool. I go play soccer with all the high school kids here. Like we do a league, right? So there's 13 teams this year. Apparently in years past, this was the first year I played, but in years past there was like 24 teams, but there weren't as many this time. So we do like a league here. You can get uniforms and teams and stuff. It gets pretty serious. Like it gets too serious. And so anyways, when I'm doing heavy glycolytic activity where you have to sprint a lot, like, playing soccer, football, your 45-minute halves is really, really intense, right? Like there are a few games. I remember playing a whole game one time, and it was the first game of the season. I was toast, man. I had a little bit of milk before that game. But when I'm doing heavy glycolytic activity, I will use some carbohydrates. Well, here's the problem. When you're doing a lot of cardio, like playing soccer, football, right? When I'm playing football, I'm doing lots of cardio, lots of running, lots of sprinting, which having a lot of extra lean muscle mass doesn't really help you there. So I don't know. It's like if you're trying to maintain gains, like if I was going to try to maintain 165, I would stop doing so much cardio. But I feel better in general, and I enjoy playing soccer, right? Like I like the aggression of it, like getting in there, I like playing. Especially I play with right now. There's it's just the high school kids, and they every single day at 4:00 they go and play, or 4:30 they go play in the park. So 2 days a week I can handle it, right? Because we'll play like full games sometimes. Like on last Thursday, we played a whole game. It was just 20-minute halves, but full field. And yeah, it's intense. These kids beat my ass. Like these kids are 16 to 18. There's some older guys that come too, but like I get beat up, man. And yeah, so doing a lot of cardio and trying to make gains doesn't really mix that much. So yeah, if I'm doing more cardio, I'm going to use more carbs because it helps me to get in the calories to where I don't lose too much weight. So I was up to 165. Playing all the soccer, I'm down to like 167, sometimes 160. I don't know. I'm sorry, 157 to 160. So yeah. Anyways, carbs, carnivore plus carbs, right? No matter what, my diet is going to look like this. Mostly animal foods. If I eat carbs, it's going to be with like one meal, and it's going to be easily digestible carbs. That might be some fruit. That might be some milk. That might be some honey. That might be some plantains with butter and honey, which I love. It's one of my go-to meals. So, yeah, carbs have their place. They are not necessary. There was a period of time where I had no carbohydrates, a long period of time. Felt really good. Felt really good. Is your goal 175? No, I don't want to be 175. Actually, I don't even want to be 165 again. I'm just going to maintain 160. Because the heavier I get, I'm 5'9". The heavier I get, the less dexterity I have. You know what I'm saying? Like the heavier I get, the less mobility you have in certain ways, the less quickness you have. Right? So I really like playing soccer, football. When playing football, you want to be quick and unpredictable on your feet. Right? And fast and sprint really fast. Holding extra weight doesn't help with that. So I don't actually, and also the amount of food I would have to eat to get to 175, I don't want to do it. Right? So 165, that's as heavy as I wanted to get, right? 165, 167. I thought I was going to push up to 170, but then I started playing more soccer and feeling better with that. So I'm not a bodybuilder. I like being strong. I like kettlebells. I like lifting some weights. So, yeah. All right. Rom's asking about, send me some raw honey. That video you went to the mountains was so cool. Yeah, I have to harvest. Thanks for reminding me. I got to harvest honey again. And I need to get more boxes, more bees. All right. I have a legit question. Name St. Joanna. How's it going? Because I have a legit question. I do keto and I don't have a gallbladder anymore. So I don't want to aggravate with no bile storage but can't handle fiber. If you don't have a gallbladder, some people do really well using ox bile salts. So ox bile salts can be a good idea. Ox bile salts. Is it hard to get royal jelly in Ecuador? Royal jelly, you're not going to get royal jelly out of anywhere except basically China. right? Like most of the royal jelly you see on the market, that stuff's all from China. So royal jelly, it's very hard to harvest. There's very little of it. But when you eat, like if you harvest raw honey and it's unfiltered, there's royal jelly in that. So like the honey I eat, there's royal jelly in it. And I really like the bee bread and some of the other parts of the, like just chewing on the honeycomb too. So yeah, bee bread has all that stuff in it. I really like bee foods. Bee foods are great. Let's see, how long we've been going? We've been almost 3 hours. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I think we're going to start wrapping it up, guys. It's been nice talking. We're going to be opening up. I'll announce within the next week or so. Well, I'm announcing it now, but I'll announce the opening of it in a week or so. We're starting our, what do you even call it? I mean, it's like it's hard to even say because we have so much. All right, we're gonna have a lot of exclusive content coming, right? A lot of exclusive content for the paid member section of our website. We're gonna use a private forum on Discord that you guys will be able to access from wherever you're at. We're gonna share exclusive content with you, exclusive interviews, monthly Q&As live in the Discord server. In our members section, we're going to be announcing this really soon. It's going to be exciting. We're pretty stoked on that. So you guys will be able to interact there when we do these live streams as well. The people in the forum, in the members section, will be able to ask questions occasionally. You know, if we do open up the floor for questions, it's going to be fun. So we're going to be opening that up real soon. We're going to have lots of exclusive content. What else do we have coming, Jessica? If you check out the website right now, if you go to primaledgehealth.com, we've got a new recipe. What was that? That beef stew recipe? That keto beef stew recipe, which you can adapt to be full-on carnivore. So check that one out. What else? What else we got? What other streams we got coming up? I haven't scheduled the next stream. I haven't decided what the next stream is going to be, but we've got a lot of stuff on our plate. We have many streams promised, many streams coming. We'll be doing one with Jay soon. Going to have some other good guests coming up. What's that?
December 1st is keto.
Oh, next Keto and Carnivore Collective. The next Keto and Carnivore Collective is starting on December 1st. 1st of December. So, let me pull up. There we go. Keto and Carnivore Collective, that's our group coaching. When we do open up the private Discord forum, it's going to be cool because we're going to be integrating the Keto and Carnivore Collective within there. So the Keto and Carnivore Collective, our group coaching, which is, in my opinion, way better than private coaching. I still do private coaching. I love meeting with private coaching clients. It's always fun getting to help people with their diet and lifestyle, but I really like doing it in the group setting because we have a community-based group where you guys support each other and you get more interaction. You get 2 live interactive voice chats per week. One of those is a lesson, another one's a Q&A, and you guys get to support each other there in the Discord server. So the Keto and Carnivore Collective, next one is starting on December 1st. You can check that out. We got some new recipes up on the website as well. If you guys make sure to check out the recipes on the website. Let's see, where'd that new recipe go? Is it listed first? We've done a major overhaul on the website, by the way. Jessica's done a really nice job making the website super nice. There you go. Easy beef stew in a crock pot. So, new recipe here. Put this one up on Instagram as well. There we go. So, we're going to be starting the new Discord soon. We're doing the beta this week. What else? What else should we say about that? They're going to be tiers, right? We're going to be doing. We're also going to be opening up our Patreon soon. We've stayed away from. Jessica's laughing at me. She's because I hate Patreon, the company. But yeah, Nathan says the website's on fleck. That website's on fleck, yo. It's lit. It's lit, dude. Yep, we're going to be doing a Patreon as well. We'll be opening that up maybe next week, maybe even sooner. But because of the way that YouTube works, because of the way demonetization works and the hiding us in the algorithm works, it makes it very, very difficult to reach audiences. It makes it very, very difficult to make ends meet sometimes. So we're being kind of forced to use that Patreon thing. But we found a way to make it cool, to make it useful, and we're really excited to have the member section on the website as well. So we're going to be doing that soon. The private forum is going to be great. It's not going to be just like a cesspool of trolls and stuff. That's why it's going to be private, the Discord. So yeah, that's going to be fun. It'll be monthly, and we can talk about that really soon. So yeah, it is what it is. It's been nice hanging out, guys. This has been a very lit stream. Oh, another one. If you want to check out, if you want to see the, so we got shirts too. We got the Eat Meat Make Family shirt. Boom. Look at that one. Got the t-shirt and the hoodie that I was wearing earlier. We also got that one. Organic tees, tanks, and hoodies. Check it out. Check out the merch. Got the steaks over cakes shirts. Got the tank tops. Let's see. What do we have that's new here? Eat Meat Make Families tanks. Those are rad. We've got ladies shirts, women's v-neck, Eat Meat Make Families. These are all organic cotton. Some of them are organic bamboo. Got the Eat Meat Make Families tee. That's the one I'm wearing right now. That t-shirt. This is the gray one. I got a white one of the tank as well that I really like. Got the steaks over cake shirts. So that's all. Oh, what? Why don't we have? We don't have a baby. We need to make a baby just so we can put that steaks over cakes onesie on him.
That would be awesome.
All right, guys. Well, we got a baby to make. So I'm about to get out of here. So yeah, check out the tees, tanks, hoodies, and stuff. Oh, we got Kasumi Chris rocking the hoodie there. There you go. All the hottest vegan, all the hottest ex-vegan e-celebs are wearing Primal Edge Health gear. Get yours now. Become a shill for Big Tristan. Become a shill for Big Primal Edge Health. Start awkward conversations with vegans at the store with your Eat Meat Make Families t-shirt. All right. All you bigots. We're out of here.
Like to raise the sense of urgency around climate change.
What ups, Reflections? I am not a bigot. I am ready to save the planet by doing exactly what the big banks tell the TV screens to tell us to do. I feel so empowered on my #vegan journey. Join us as we chant empty slogans for #climate action written by PR firms. We need to save the earth and demand a global totalitarian technocratic government run by big finance and the Fortune 100. Our house is on fire and we need the nice grown-up government to take everyone's land and resources and ration us delicious, sustainable, nutrient-fortified vegan kibble. This is an emergency. Mommy Earth is crying so sad because she wants the mean grown-ups to give poor little 16-year-old human shield Greta her future back.
Do you have anything to add to these debates about just in particular the idea that it's kind of too expensive to deal with climate change?
I mean, the money is there. If we can save the banks, then we can save the world. I mean,
Jeffrey Epstein committed suicides and was working alone. Veganism is desirable and fun and make me smile big happy on my insides. I do not hate children. I am not a science denier. I do like science. To fix the #climate crisis we need to sterilize ourselves, starve ourselves, eat babies and grandma and move to a social engineered #smart city to save the earth. There is no time to examine the inconsistencies in our claims or actions or the billions of dollars being leveraged to brainwash us into thinking we want this. We want #climate action now and a #plant-based food system of sustainable fortified kibble. We are not being used. We are truly empowered and full of energy that we are using constructively. We are so empowered and not deceived.
We all share the same values, so we just need to align those values with our actions and join forces. We all want the same thing. We want to see an Earth in the next 50 years.
the money is there. If we can save the banks, then we can save the world. I mean,